Warning, Supernatural The Crossroads contains adult language and discussions. If you're easily offended, do not continue to listen.
Oh, Dad. Oh, Dad. Oh, Dad.
I went to the crossroads. Fell down on my
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Supernatural The Crossroads, the first episode for Season 12. As always, I'm your host, Thomas Cowley. Joined with me today, Ryan Denton.
What up, bitches?
And Michael Flores.
Hello.
Guys, it's another season of Supernatural. We've made it through another hiatus. This one, I don't know about you guys, for me, it felt particularly long.
I wanted to stab myself in the throat.
All right, then. Just violence right away.
Dude,
I think you need to call Jared's hotline.
Dude, I felt like we haven't been in here in, like...
Listen, hiatus gets the best of you, Ryan. Never stop fighting. See, that's why they created that. That's the true story.
That's the reason.
They make hiatus so goddamn long. Jared and Jensen decided they needed to create a hotline for it.
They're like, so many people are slitting their wrists waiting for this fucking next season, and...
Jesus.
I'm kidding.
That'd be really dark. If that was like the secret motive behind it.
Jesus, that is dark.
What a way to start this.
I know, right? Hoping everyone's having a good time.
All right. See you guys later.
Yeah. So, yeah, Season 12 is back. A new showrunner, Andrew Dabb, is at the helm. Carver has officially left the building. He is now working on Frequency.
He's carving something else up.
He's carved a new little thing for himself.
Carving out a niche?
Yeah, carving out a niche for himself. There you go. So Dabb was essentially half show running Season 11 from all the little behind the scenes bits that we heard. But this is his first foray running the helm, running the ship himself.
Yep.
You know, this was also this first written episode for Season 12. This was directed by Phil. I always say it wrong. Scrucia?
You got it.
Oh, Jesus.
No,
God. No, I did not.
Scrucia, isn't it?
Scrucia?
Maybe you should call Jared's hotline to help
Phil
you out.
Scrunchy. There you go.
How about Phil? We'll just call him Phil.
Phil.
I can't believe all summer long I couldn't pull the audio from Buckmaster's interview where she said the name right. I keep forgetting.
Well, dude, you don't ever say a name right, so let's not even...
Well, the key is just to keep saying, like, say it wrong
Kennelly?
and just go with it, and then no
Ruth
one...
Kennelly.
Right, Ruth Kennelly, how you doing today? And then nobody realizes you fucked up.
Or you just moved on, so they have to answer that first, so they don't want to correct
Right,
you.
it's kind of like when you accidentally let a fart slip out, and you don't all of a sudden like draw attention to it. No, you just pretend like it never happened.
Keep going.
No, I just let him go. And
You clinch up for about a half a second, and you're effed. Everybody knows.
Oh yeah, because it was much louder. It's more of a rumble.
Anyway, Season 12 had a bit of a rise in the ratings because, of course, we're going to talk news first. Why not? What is it? It has an 11% increase from last year's premiere. Is that right,
Yeah,
Mike? Or is this like finale or what?
Just a 10.77% to be exact. But yes,
Jesus Christ.
just about 11% increase from last year's season finale or season premiere. Sorry,
Season premiere. Okay, which is surprising after 12 years that Supernatural's still going strong. What was it, like number 2 or 3 in one demo for CW?
Yeah,
it did a good performance for the first episode after 12 years.
Last year was 1.9, under 2, and the fact that they were above almost 2.2, that's 12 seasons. Yeah. And you're still bringing in 2.2. And again, this does not include 7 Day.
Yeah, because this is live, right?
Yes, that's live. This is not
I know
even
that
7
didn't count
day.
me. Because being a bastard fan, I have to watch it the following day.
I'm the same way. I have to watch it on the app.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get those app numbers soon. Now that they're streamlining everything in, meaning they got rid of the Hulu numbers and there's no more second guessing. There's no more waiting for them to deliver the numbers. They have it at their fingertips now. So I'm anxious to see them start releasing those CW numbers as well.
That app is painful, dude.
It's not that bad.
I just go to the website.
No, it's.
He just doesn't like commercials.
I don't. Yeah, I hate the commercials.
Well, neither do I. But
it makes me want to.
Hey, it's free.
He hates supporting the show that he likes.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, after I see Moana advertisement for the 300th time,
Moana or marijuana?
Marijuana. Yeah.
I thought I said Mulan or something like that.
Well, it's a Disney movie. Seeing it, dude. I like The Rock, but Jesus, I don't want to see the fucking preview for that 400 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. But a good, strong showing 12 years in. And though we've talked about it before, there's the mention that the 300th episode could be where Supernatural closes its doors. Although that led us halfway through season 13 or halfway through 14 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't see that happening necessarily.
I'm looking at the numbers from last year. Yeah. And the numbers for the season premiere, season 12, was a larger number than they had all year last year.
Whoa, wait. The season 12 premiere is larger than all of season?
Combined. Not all combined.
Any episode, though.
Any episode out of the 23 episode run of last year, this season premiere beat out every single episode.
See, and that is weird to me because after things like Baby or Don't Call Me Shirley, I would not have expected this episode to garner. And that kind of feeds into how TV is built. They build it so that you have to watch the premiere and the finale. Those are the 2 episodes you can't miss. Followed by mid-season finale?
Yeah.
So.
Well, keep that line of thinking, Thomas, because you're right. And now turn it into word of mouth. And that's why people are tuning in for season 12.
Yeah.
Because season 11 was talked about as one of the best seasons in years. That's probably the reason why we have such a great bump at 2.1. Plus, I think we came out a week later, and we actually had Netflix come out before this year.
Netflix season 11?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but season 11, but the previous season usually doesn't come out until...
days before.
I want to say days, but it came out about a week, I want to say. I could be completely off by that. I'm sure I'll be corrected. But all I know is I got a notification, and I was able to put down about 10 episodes before the season premiere. So that if I had time in my day to put down 10 episodes... I know the people out there who love that binge watching was able to finish up that season in a couple days.
Couple days.
A day, okay.
A day. Come on.
Yeah.
Have faith in us.
Hey, it's 24 hours in a day. There's 23 episodes. It's done.
One bathroom break. That's all you need.
Yeah, or just, just pee, get a colostomy bag, just pee right on the...
There you go. Don't even have to get up.
Yeah.
I might go that route.
Oh, Jesus.
They don't have a needle small enough to get into your dick.
Oh.
Holy, so aggressive.
And that's how you know Ryan hasn't been on the show in a little bit.
Yeah, I've been.
He said that with some hate in there as well.
He did. That was planned malice.
Yeah,
there was no hate.
I think he wrote that one down.
I did. I've been wanting to say that one forever.
Expertly segued over.
Right, he had that ready.
He brought up the colostomy bag.
He's like, then he'll talk about dicks, and then it's a free dick joke right there.
Guys, wait. You guys are giving me way too much credit in my jokes here.
I give you full credit when it comes to making a dick joke.
Okay, all right. Well,
that is where you're going to do your research and time.
All right.
Hey, really fast, Thomas, we might want to clue people in. We have changed our location for chatting for the time being. We're probably going to be directing people from now on to our main website, RaymanDigitalMedia.com. Supernatural The Crossroads will still be available to go down and check out past episodes for the time being, but we're trying to streamline and make things easier for people to go to. So our chat room now will be on the Rainman Digital Media website, and we tweeted it out. So if you're on Twitter as well as Facebook, you can get right to it. And it's a Facebook and Twitter login, so it's a little more streamlined, a little more up to date, rather than that GeoCities chat room I had for the last 3 Tell me it's not
longer than 3
totally
years.
Was, dude.
Yeah, I think I had to use a DOS prompt to bring it up.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus. All the people are like, huh?
Yeah, what is
You
that?
just aged yourself as well there, Mike. So good going.
Age, sex, location.
Oh, Jesus. So one little bit of news, there was an article by ScreenRant.com recently about how Family allows Supernatural to keep going indefinitely.
Yeah.
I don't. Does anybody have that up?
Pulling it up right now as you speak.
So in an early episode of CW's Elder Statesman Supernatural, Dean reminds Sam that their duty as Winchesters is to continue saving people, hunting things, the family business. A line that has become somewhat of a catchphrase for the series over the years and often finds itself repeated each season in recap videos that serve to remind fans of Sam and Dean's road so far. Speaking real quick, road so far reminded me, I was a little, and Mike, you mentioned this before we even started,
right?
Not to jump ahead or get in the episode, but a little bit of that. The road so far was a bit different, and that threw me. Did that throw anybody else?
It was a little bit different, but I you know what though, like
what road so far? You mean the music video we got?
Exactly.
Are you talking about the music video
for the beginning of season 12?
A highlight reel, actually.
Because normally they would use either the "Carry On" by Kansas or some other like more classic rock song that's been associated. That honestly bothered me.
I didn't mind the song. I actually liked the song. I was surprised that they didn't give us any actual roads. It just gave us like various scenes cut together and then some dialogue at the very end. I mean, if you go back and look at the road so far for the past 7, 8, at least for this, I can definitely vouch for the first 7, 8 seasons that you had some significant amount of talking going on as well.
Yeah,
I liked that.
You don't really get the gist of the road so far when you're splicing
just watching
scenes.
Murderers. That's because that's essentially what you're doing then.
Yeah, the show's real violent. Road so far, lots of blood.
A lot of people died. I have no idea what happened, but a lot of people died.
Yeah.
But going back to the article, it turns out that this recurring theme of unbreakable family connections is very much what the cast and crew intend to function as at the heart of Supernatural, and is the element they most credit for helping to maintain the series' seemingly endless life. In an interview with USA Today, the SPN team offered their thoughts on why exactly they think it is and how Mary's return in season 12 will further expand the scope of the Winchester family. According to Eccles, Supernatural's focus on family ties was spelled out to him and Padalecki by series creator Kripke all the way back during filming of the second episode. You know, the whole thing begins and ends with you and the relationship you have on screen. Eccles says to Kripke's that he told the 2 stars. Executive producer Andrew Dabb expressed similar sentiments elsewhere during the interview, saying that the core of the show is an emotional saga about family, whether that be the Winchesters' blood relations or close allies like Castiel and even Crowley.
And that, Thomas,
that's an interesting sentence.
That's what resonated with me. And I know not only those words, but the show. That's why the show resonates with me. He's right. And I'm sure there's, countless millions of fans watching the show, and I'm sure various percentages are watching for different reasons. However, when it comes to me, this article is right on. I mean, I'm a family-centric individual, and that is one of the general themes in this show that has kept me involved emotionally.
Yeah.
That's what kept me involved emotionally, because I can connect and I can relate. And also there's a lot of people, friends I have, who aren't big on family, meaning they're not close to their mother, not close to their brothers and fathers. However, they usually, if they aren't close to their actual blood-related family, they usually have a handful of individuals who are their friends, who are their
surrogate family,
right? Who are their brothers and sisters, and that's again what Supernatural has done. It doesn't, friends. What is it? Friend loyalty doesn't end at with blood.
Family doesn't end.
Family doesn't.
At blood.
Yeah, I mean, and that definitely is very true for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bobby said that is his go-to line.
Yeah.
So, Dab says we will do things in production, a stunt or a special effect, and the episode will air, and Twitter will be like, quote, "Oh, that's cool." And then the moment when Dean turns toward the camera and sheds one man tear, single man tear, Twitter goes insane. It's very obvious to see where our bread is buttered. Okay,
he's trying to make a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Baby, I'm going to butter your bread.
We know where our dab of butter is at on the bread.
Oh, God, that was terrible.
It's all right. There always are.
I know, right?
That's why I'm the one that tells the jokes.
I don't know. I think Carved Up was pretty good. And Gambleized.
No, they've all been good. Dab of talent. Gamble. Yeah, they've all been good. Don't.
As for Mary, it was revealed during subsequent seasons of Supernatural that she came from a family of hunters, unbeknownst to John, and had blah blah blah. Robert Singer. Yeah, that's stuff we know.
Hold on, bringing it back to what Dab said about that they know where their bread and butter's at in terms of what the fans are really going to connect with. It's true. Look at this entire episode and look at one of the greatest moments, at least I know to you and I, was the Sam the Dean and Castiel hug out.
Yeah.
When Castiel found out that Dean was alive, I mean, that out of the entire episode, that was one of the highest emotional points, and it lasted all of 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah.
It was great. So Dab's right. I mean, and that makes me feel good about him taking over the show because he gets it. And if he wasn't saying these words, I'd be worried right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Talking about, Robert Singer talks about Mary Winchester saying it was a life that, while she was really good at it, was not something she wanted and certainly didn't want it for her sons. To find out what transpired after her death is a blow to the gut. Which, I mean, we saw a little bit of that, and we'll get into it as we talk about the episode more, but I do feel like there's more to come with that. I don't feel like this episode completely encapsulated that.
Right.
That's my opinion. I don't know about
We'll get
Ryan.
into it.
Yeah,
we'll get into it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it.
They talk about this, how many, of course, as Supernatural heads into season 12, many fans continue to wonder when or even if the series will come to a conclusion. After all, most genre shows are lucky to get 2 to 3 seasons.
Yep, that's
According to the CW boss, Mark Pedowitz, though, there is still no firm endpoint in sight. He says, quote, if the show keeps performing the way it has, there's an open pass to continuing indefinitely if the boys want to keep doing it.
Which he said probably
He
about,
said that
about
12 times now.
Yeah, about a dozen
Once for each
times.
season.
He said that, yeah.
You know? So, I mean, it's kind of a recap of the news we've heard throughout the summer. But 300 is kind of where they're looking to shoot for at this point.
Yeah.
That's the current new goal for J2, however you want to call them.
Right. And then that's if you want to read into every word that they say. I know we talked about it briefly, but I mean, Jensen did say in an interview with the EW that 300 seems to be a good round number.
Yeah.
To end the show.
I strongly disagree.
With you mean with that?
He wants 500.
I want 500.
Well, I want 600.
1,000.
Oh, well,
but I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, we haven't really heard Jensen or Jared actually spit out a number, and the fact that Singer pipes in and says, I think it's time that we may, again, I'm paraphrasing, it may be a time where we actually pick an end date so that we can start writing for it, basically.
I think that's always a better idea.
I agree with that,
You know?
but how about they have an end date for 300, but then they don't end it.
Just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Kripke did. Look, he had an end date in mind, and the show felt well rounded and complete, and then they continued to the next chapter.
Well, that's what they need to do. They need to write a story that goes however many seasons, however many episodes, and that's why I really wish TV would either, you don't get a show greenlit to go beyond the pilot.
Right.
You do not get a show without a specific number of seasons planned.
Yeah.
This show will be on for 3 seasons, 4 seasons, 10 seasons. Because then you can better structure your story. This whole renewing every year halfway through, so we're kind of making up the last half as we go, or we cram stuff in. Supernatural has suffered from it a little bit, not nearly like other shows have. But I do wish they would kind of change that mindset. I think today's golden age of TV with Netflix and binge watching and stuff like that is the perfect time to establish that. Breaking Bad set it up with 5, 6, if you want to argue how they split it, seasons, and that was it. Black Sails is doing 4 seasons, and that's it. Supernatural was supposed to be 5, and that would have been fine. Sad had it not continued, but it would have worked.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why season 11 felt so strong. It probably is because they knew they were going to end this chapter.
Yeah,
there was in fact an ending. It felt like an ending.
Well, that was
if you didn't add the Mary Winchester part and the and Sam being abducted by a woman of letters,
they could have ended there.
It would have felt like an ending. And by having that ending and saying, hey, we're going into the next chapter, it did feel complete.
And that's the thing. I think that's one of my biggest complaints in hindsight, looking back at a couple of the recent seasons. Season 10 compared to season 11, for me, is a season where it knew where it wanted to go with season 11. It had a starting point and an ending point, and it told its story pretty damn well. There's a couple gripes or a few little changes that anybody on the internet or ourselves have talked about, but overall, season 11 was great. I look back at season 10 now with less fond memories because while individual episodes were great, and especially performances by specific characters, it's really hard for me to say what that season was about. The Mark of Cain
maybe you should watch it again, Thomas.
The Mark of Cain being an annoyance, and then the Steins showing up to then just disappear.
Oh, they're coming back this year. Watch.
Stitched together from their own corpses to make one Mega Stein.
Stitched together.
What is this, fucking Voltron?
I think he just wrote like an episode there.
I did. Slapdash that shit.
And all combine the head.
Oh, restitched.
Yeah. That'd be stupid meta for Frankenstein, but it would work.
Jesus.
That's miserable.
It's stupid as hell.
Yeah.
But, that's what I'm saying. If you have a setup, you know when to end. So, guys, with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get into episode 1 of season 12.
It's no secret you're the talk of the town. You know the best of the girls. That's right, and now you walk right out of my heart. You know it's all over town.
The Rain Man Show. The Rain Man Show.
Adam Tingle saw the woman walking her dog Monday afternoon and yelled at her thinking she was a killer clown. When the woman didn't stop walking, Tingle fired a shot from his rifle, which missed, thankfully.
He had time and a location to grab his rifle.
He's in Kentucky. He's probably hanging in the back of his truck. Yeah. Right, yeah.
I apologize for killing this woman. But I killed her. I killed her.
Yeah.
But
you killed her?
Nowadays, it's so confusing. All these bitches just wear too much makeup.
Yes, they do.
I was telling Jethro the other day, I'm like, remember when bitches didn't wear makeup? You could wake up the next morning from a club night and say, hey, Bertha looks the same as she did last night. Oh. It's insane. It's insane. Now, when I wake up from a club night, their faces are on the pillow next to me.
I complimented my mama with her lipstick,
I mean, back when I used to have sex with my mother, she wore the right amount, the right ratio of makeup.
I told my mama it definitely brings out your dick-sucking lips.
For more Rain Man, visit RainManShow.com.
Have you ever wanted something so bad that you do just about anything for it? Well, that's exactly how we feel about you. That's right. AdamandEve.com wants you so bad. We're giving you 10 free gifts with your first order. You heard me right. That's 10 free gifts to spice up your love life. First, you'll get a sexy surprise for her. Second, an adventurous toy for him. And third, a little something we know you'll both enjoy. Plus, you'll get 6 full-length adult movies on DVD. And number 10, free shipping on your entire order. That's 10 free gifts for you shy types who've never tried Adam and Eve before. Just go to AdamandEve.com and select any one item. It could be an adventurous new toy, a sexy piece of lingerie, or anything you desire. Just enter offer code DEAL30 at checkout, and you'll get all 10 free gifts, including free shipping. That's offer code DEAL30.
Geek Out Saturday.
But at the same time, then you wouldn't have this feeling that, okay, so Lucifer's just what? Sitting on his hands and knees?
With King Shark, I was getting a shark tattoo. And, I watched the episode after.
The way it ended. You end it with Rey climbing the mountain, holding out the lightsaber to Luke. And
funny that some of my favorite Westerns are coming from the Euro countries. Mm-hmm. To this day, directors and writers are able to bring the heat in terms of American.
Don't get me wrong, Mad Max was really good, but they washed out a lot of it to kind of hide the special effects that they were doing.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Catch up on your favorite Rain Man digital geek shows every Saturday. DC on CW, Back to Tank, Weird West Radio, The Crossroads, and more. Geek Out Saturday on Rain Man Channel 001. Listen from the Rain Man digital app or tune in. Just search RM Channel 001.
Like I said, there's a few scenes there where you're just like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like I said, when he comes riding in, he makes the kid shoot. I thought that was like a powerful moment. And then once you get to that second part of the film where you have the Cave of Wonders.
Yeah, I'm very split because I love art films, as people know, and I love films like this. I love surrealistic films. It wasn't my thing per se. I've seen a lot of psychedelic westerns that are abstract and you would consider them avant-garde, and I really connected with them and really like them. This one, for some reason, I couldn't connect with. As I was saying earlier in the show, I don't think he wasn't telling a story. It seemed more like he was conveying thoughts. Mm-hmm. And it seemed much like a dream. you actually said, it sounded like you enjoyed this movie more than I did.
I might have.
And I was surprised when you said that, because I expect you to say, I hate it, like you did with Dead Man's Bounty or Summer Love.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah, it's complete shit, that one. But this,
oh, come on.
I can't stand that one. But this...
Listen up, cowboys and cowgirls. You can now listen to Weird West Radio every Sunday, only on Rain Man Digital.
Previously on Supernatural: The Crossroads. No, they didn't.
Castiel says he's gone. He's not dead. They would have said
How
that.
does he know he's gone?
Because
he's
they
dead?
shared a body.
I think he's dead.
No,
I think
he's not
It's
dead.
the same thing as saying he's passed away. Like, he could be gone.
Oh,
he's
fuck
passed
off.
away.
You know he's not gone. You know he's not gone.
Lucifer's gone forever.
No. They deliberately take time. And I was so happy. That was like the first thing that happens.
That's what he sounds like.
Is Arnold in the studio?
Apparently he is.
Get Lucifer to the chopper.
No, but they take deliberate time to make mention that he's not dead. I like that. And immediately I was like, yes.
They didn't take time to tell us anything,
Yes,
really,
they did.
other than the fact that you don't know what happened to him.
Yeah. They don't know that he's dead.
But there's no way, if you're not going to kill him right there, if you don't say explicitly he's dead, or see it like a Metatron crushed into the
Look who sounds like Ryan now. If we didn't see it, it's not canon.
It's not canon. Oh, okay, Ryan.
Because there was no illusion.
No. Now you see how stupid this is when it came to Chuck, huh?
I like it.
You're just fucking wrong.
He just ruined his entire point.
I know.
By slamming you, he's making fun of himself.
I'm allowed to make fun of myself.
The Chuck thing hinged on the entire concept and theme of the show.
But it wasn't canon.
Yes, it was. And it turned out to be right, so suck a fat one.
So what you're bitching about right now is the same thing.
No, because they took time to say they don't know where he went. He would have said he's dead. You know
where he went? He went to purgatory.
And Mike knows, despite how much he wants to give me shit, he knows as a writer, if you leave it that open-ended, that's because you're coming back to it at some point.
They're going to come back to his dead body somewhere.
Yes, but we don't know. I'm assuming he's dead right now.
Yep.
No, he's not dead. The question for me is, what are they going to do with him? Is he going to come back?
They're pushing him away.
Is he
died.
If he's not dead, which we have a lot of evidence to suggest that he's not dead.
A lot of evidence, one word.
Yeah, that's
we don't know where he went.
That's plenty.
So much evidence.
He's not dead. So where is he? We know that the angels can kind of like float around in the ether, and we know that there are other vessels he can inhabit. They just won't, house him for very long. But does he come back eventually as a vengeful, angry, original Lucifer again?
Or a vengeful spirit, because he's dead.
That wouldn't even make fucking sense. Or does he...
That would be awesome.
Has he kind of healed those wounds?
Ghost Lucifer.
Ghost Lucifer. The
God,
fuck is
amazing.
that?
That'd be amazing. I would laugh my ass off.
I'm sensing some new fan fiction for me and Thomas to write.
Yeah, right?
Ghost Lucifer.
He'll ghost you. That's our tagline.
With his Lucifer powers.
No, the question is, what do you do with that character? Okay,
kill him.
He's not dead. Shut the fuck up for half a second. If he's not dead, which all the evidence says he's not dead.
I love that Thomas gets so
Oh my
emotional.
god, I'm gonna fucking throw shit at you again.
He gets so emotional about Lucifer. I love it.
He's a great character.
I hope Lucifer and Crowley stab each other, and then Thomas has nobody left on the show.
What do you mean by stab?
I'll let you interpret that one because you love both of them.
Yeah, I do. It's like a scene from one of my nightmares, just reliving that shit.
That's one of my favorite. I trolled you so fast.
I was getting so mad.
Guys, he actually threw something at me in the studio.
Yeah, that's happened a couple times, actually.
Well, I did my job. If you troll to the point where it makes someone that angry, you're doing a great job.
I was re-listening the show to prepare for this one, so I was re-listening to our last broadcast, and I was dying laughing. Like, man, I don't even remember Ryan doing that to you that many times. I don't know. How many times did you say he was dead? Like 25 times?
I don't know.
Jesus.
Every time he'd start a point, I'd be like, but he's dead.
Yeah. Every sentence, I'm trying to bring up discussion again. You're like, yeah, but he's dead, so. Fucking dickhead. He's not now, so I was right.
Oh, but it's not who you want it to be.
I know. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, time to discuss episode 1, Keep Calm and Carry On, which I knew they were going to go with some kind of reference to that Keep Calm and British joke here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, come on. Really? But this one was written by Andrew Dabb, directed by Phil Segrecia? I don't know. Phil Scrunchy. We're just gonna call him Phil.
Phil
I think we
S.
should just
Phil S.
Just Phil. That's how Supernatural: The Crossroads refers to him. Just Phil.
Phil.
And this one had the return of Mary Winchester. We had the Men of Letters, British edition. You know, we had a lot of stuff in this episode, but it also felt, I don't know, this one was weird because it had a lot of stuff, but it still felt a little slow.
Yeah, I actually
That's
agree with that.
at least my opinion at this point. But let's start with the big cliffhanger, Mary and Dean, which is what exactly where the show came back to. Mary does not remember fucking anything for the first couple minutes. That had to be weird.
She's been dead so long she hasn't fucked anything in a while anyways. So, I mean, I definitely think she wouldn't remember that.
But that had to be weird. You know, you go from remembering being at home to now you're in a park and 30 years have passed.
What I'm happy about is that her memory was basically from when she died. So, like, you know, seeing Dean, she didn't know who he was, you know, and no, you're only 6 years old or whatever, like she said to Dean. I don't remember I'm paraphrasing, of course, but the fact that her memory wasn't there, like all she remembers is, and that brings up a good point because she's been in heaven, right? I would
She
say.
had been, yeah.
So she's been in heaven. So in heaven, she couldn't see Sam and Dean from heaven, like what they're doing.
It seemed like essentially because we know other characters have gone to heaven,
right?
You know,
but
Jimmy Novak and Claire's mom.
Have we ever seen someone be brought back to life that was in heaven? From heaven?
I don't believe so. Dean was brought back, but from hell. Right. Bobby has never come back. He's only communicated from heaven.
Right.
And and then when
John obviously never heard from.
Again, I'm sure somebody will correct us, but that's a bit of a new lore, I'm guessing. Maybe when you are brought back from heaven, you don't necessarily remember everything that was going on.
Maybe. I mean, time probably is a bit different there, too.
Yeah, either way, I think it worked. It helped out bring out a more of an emotional scene between Dean and Mary. I think it would have been lost something if she remembered everything. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh,
hey,
yeah,
man, how's it going? Been watching
Oh,
for
yeah, I
years
remember
now.
that, too. You know, because then it feels like she never really left if she remembers everything. The fact that they gave her that time, that gap in her memory, I felt that it helped boost the emotional quality of the scene.
I agree.
That I think was needed.
I like from a canon standpoint that she immediately like wrestles Dean to the ground and she's like, who the fuck are you? Because,
yeah, that was cool.
She was a Campbell. She was a hunter. She knew all that stuff. I mean, that's how they first meet in the alley in season 5 when he goes back in time. She starts fighting him.
Yeah.
You know,
almost exactly the same.
Very similar.
Yeah.
I liked that bit because it shows that it's not, you know, Mary, their mom. This is Mary Winchester / Campbell, the hunter.
Yeah.
You know, and
I really like that.
We
too.
know the Campbells probably more than most other hunters we know were pretty militaristic about their hunting from season 6.
They were assholes.
No, they were assholes, but they were organized assholes who like had a training camp and, you know.
They were like a militia.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
So I liked seeing that. It shows that she was more of the hardcore. We see her hardcore side before she goes fighting into all this shit. And it kind of helped jump ahead with her, like, okay, yeah, you don't need to explain there's monsters and heaven and hell so much. She's like, yeah, okay, I knew like 50% of this stuff. Now I know the other 50% through a quick discussion.
Yeah.
At the same time, it did feel a little odd that he can explain all this stuff and how long her husband's been gone when for her memory, he was in the other room not 15 minutes ago.
Right.
You know, as far as she remembers, she was still at home until this moment.
See, I am okay with the fact that she was okay with this. Like, yes, it took her back for a moment, but you got to remember, this isn't her first rodeo. She gets it. She has ridden on the back of Supernatural.
Right.
She understands this world obviously more than we were even led to believe in the previous seasons because, of course, she's even heard of the Men of Letters. So something like this, I don't think is very feasible to her. Yes, it's shocking. Yes, I lost 30 years of my life. Yes, my husband's dead. Yes, you're older, but at the same time, because she's in that world, it's no different than if Dean, think about it, if Dean were to die and he was brought back 60 years later.
Jesus Christ
almighty, man.
I had
Did you eat today?
I had a stroke.
Like, was that your Mexican coming out? My God.
60 years later. And Sam was now old. I would think his reaction would be almost identical to how Mary's was. He would believe it because he's been there. He understands that these things happen.
Yeah, I could see that. nothing would really phase him. I mean, you saw that when he went into like the alternate timeline where he met himself.
Right.
Exactly.
He wasn't that phased by that.
I mean, and she also, she bought into the fact also back when he time traveled that it was the sun. So, I mean, she obviously has that mindset where she gets it.
Yeah.
Well, didn't she even say, she's seen people come back to life?
Yes.
So, I mean, that right there is enough for her. Oh, I've seen people do it. Okay, so I did it.
I mean, did you really want to sit through an entire episode where this happened, Mom? And I swear to God, I wasn't trying to touch your boob there. I was trying to grab your arm. Like, I'm not a stranger. I wasn't going to hurt you. Like, I didn't want to go through an entire episode and that's what I was kind of afraid of. I was kind of afraid that we were going to get an entire episode where he was trying to convince her. And I felt that was a nice way. It kind of hit the hot points. We cut from the scene, we go to something else. I believe it was Castiel, and then we come back where he already pretty much gave her
summed up 30 years.
He updated her because it started at night, that it was dark, and when we came back to the scene, it was morning. So, and to me, I felt that it worked to keep the episode progressing without feeling stale and not forgetting the fact that we've all been here for 12 years. We don't need to hear the Cliff Notes.
I understand that, but at the same time, I felt a little odd, not because she understood the world, but her reactions to her kids growing up without her. Like,
I think she's still processing it.
Probably, and I think that's something that they have to show throughout further episodes or, maybe even throughout the season. But I mean, you're a father, Mike. Think about tomorrow, your kid is all of a sudden in his 30s and you've missed the whole thing.
And he's had a horrible life because he's hunting.
And he's had a shitbag life, and your wife's, God forbid, gone.
I would be completely upset, and I'd be disturbed, and I'd be upset that I wasn't there for it. I'd be very angry, and I think it's in her face. Like when she was at that restaurant, that little diner, the drive-thru, and she was sitting there with Castiel. I think that's what she's going. I think that's the point. I think they were trying to convey that through her facial expressions and some of the questions she asked, and I think that's going to be her story arc this season. I think she's going to struggle with that the entire year.
I hope so. Not because it sounds horrible that I hope she struggles with that, but I hope that they do touch on that throughout this episodes, because that makes her far more human rather than just like, okay, 30 years, let's go.
Yeah, it'd be a massive missed opportunity if they don't. I 100% agree.
My favorite part, look, all that's fine and dandy, but I'm glad that she's been gone for 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
When she came back, she's sitting at that diner and she's overwhelmed by the technology.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that I'm glad they did, and they didn't just gloss that over like, oh, I've been gone for 30 years. Oh, that's a computer? Cool. Like, that was mind-blowing to her that, Dean is on the computer hacking into the fucking cameras, and then she's at the diner and there's kids playing on their phones and stuff.
iPod and everything.
Yeah, like that. I'm glad they did that, because can you imagine if, you took someone from 30 years ago and brought them here and said, hey, look, I have a fucking computer in my pocket now. Like, it would blow their fucking mind. Like,
I'm glad you picked up on that. And I'm wondering, Ryan, if they're going to actually delve into that more.
I hope so.
Obviously, this is the type of show where you delve into social issues, but obviously that's something that we see the serious problem with today's society, where there is a disconnect within families. Right. The fact that they're eating and having lunch and none of them are really communicating with each other on their devices. So I'm wondering if that was there for a point, if that's going to tie into their own family issues later in this season.
I hope so. I hope that they keep going with it. I think, like I said, she's been gone for 30 years. There should be things that she sees that should kind of set her back. Like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? Like, not just the phones and stuff, just in general. Yeah, porn.
Internet porn.
God, dude, like VR porn now? Dude.
Do you think we're going to have another awkward dinner talking about sex like we did with
I don't know,
Kim Rhodes?
I hope so.
I don't know, but Ryan just brought up VR porn. Please put a scene where Castiel tries out VR porn. How amazing would that be? Tell me it wouldn't work with this character.
That would be great.
Be so good, dude. Oh my God. But Castiel's not a virgin anymore, so I mean,
that's true.
He's still innocent. He didn't understand when Mary was looking at the back seat.
Oh, that's true.
He's all, what is she doing?
That was a little weird. I gotta admit,
that was gross.
Because you've always known Baby as the place that Sam and Dean, like, that's their home, and that's where they've banged chicks in the car. We've saw that in the episode Baby, but it's weird to think that their parents did, and then it's really their dad's car.
Oh, Baby.
Exactly.
So terrible.
Now it's like that was their parents' car.
There could be some DNA in that backseat.
Listen, I had a car.
All the Winchesters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I started laughing.
It's a family stew.
Because that's a fear of my own. Like, you know, I have a
Getting
kid.
laid in the car?
No, I have a kid, and it always bothers me. I'm like, don't sit on that chair there, son.
Oh,
No, it's true. Like, in my mind, like, if I remembered I had sex on that spot, like on the couch or on the bed, whatever, I'm like, yeah, come here. I'll find some excuse why I don't want him to sit there.
on this towel.
Like, that's just, like, think about it. Like, how many times have you grown up, or as you were growing up as a child, did you accidentally possibly sit someplace where your dad splooged?
Like, dude, I lost.
You're doing it on your own furniture?
I lost my virginity in the backseat of my car. My first sexual experience was in the backseat of my Honda Civic, dude.
Yeah, with a dude. Is that what he said?
Yeah, with a dude. Name is
It's
Brittany.
dumb, but it's still funny.
You say his name's Brandon? Is that what he said?
Yeah, totally. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
But anyways, yeah, that scene was awkward, but I liked it, and it made me feel uncomfortable, probably because I have my own issues with that, with my parents having sex. I have my own.
For me, it was just
immature
don't taint the car.
But I laughed at it because I was like, well, this is where Dean gets it. Like that smirk that she did.
That's where Dean was conceived. What are you talking about?
I just felt like it was a reflection of Dean. Like it
Absolutely.
was like that's something Dean would do. Oh yeah, good times.
You don't see that from John Winchester.
No, he's very serious.
He's all serious, which reminds me more of Sam's nature when it comes to that thing. But now you kind of see where Dean gets some of that smirky,
I like that
a little
lot.
pervy behavior from Mom, apparently.
Yeah, that's good. I like that a lot.
I wonder if Mom likes. I guess it would be hung male Asians. I wonder if,
Jesus,
because Dean likes busty, Asian beauties. I figured maybe Mom likes, Asian men. I don't know. I'm spitting out stuff.
Good Lord. Just save it for your fan fiction.
I could just see it now. Mary Winchester types in hung Asians.
Trying to learn the computer. Her and Cass are both trying to learn the computer.
Gotta be
He's using the VR porn. She's Google searching.
Mother like son. We now realize where Dean gets it from.
Oh.
Jesus.
Click, 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 click. Backspace, backspace.
It was interesting to see Dean reconnect with his mom, because this has been, since episode 1, has been a huge part of his character, was that she was taken from him when he was a kid, and that respect / putting her up on a pedestal of perfection, which we talked about this during the season finale of season 11. But now that she's here, the real person, will he still view her as this perfect being, or will that kind of start to fade with this?
Here's the thing, and this goes for any person in the world, that when you're younger, you look at your parents as being perfect.
Right.
And then as you get older, you see their flaws because you can recognize the flaws.
And he's never had that with her.
He's never had that. So now that he's older, he's going to see that, hey, Mom had some flaws.
You know
Is
what?
that going to be a major character element, though?
I'm hoping it's the opposite of what Ryan just said. And I'll tell you why. Because in horror, you have that classic woman of innocence who's murdered that starts the story. And yes, she was not a virgin, Mary Winchester, but there was a certain amount of innocence to her character when the show first started. She was wearing white. She was very vulnerable the way they chose to dress her. She was burned on a ceiling in a very, very troubling way. I mean, much like a lot of horror films. So all I'm saying is that there were some inspirations to innocence there with that character's death. And I would like them to kind of keep that and hold on to that, and not from the innocent side, but let's take it up a notch and more of I don't want to use the word righteous, but let's keep her special. Let's keep her not to say I don't want to have a flawed character. And I think we already discussed what we want to see with her. We want to see her struggling with her kids and how they were raised. And maybe she blames herself for whatever reason because of the deal with Yellow Eyes. Something like that. I want her to struggle with those things, but I don't want her to be diminished in the eyes of Sam and Dean. I want her to hold on to that. We already had to deal with that with the father. We already saw John Winchester.
They thought he was the best hunter ever. Turns out he sometimes left people to die.
And then he had another son. He had another son.
Family.
Yeah, whole other family. I mean, we've already seen that, and it would be nice for these guys to have something good in their life, and it would be nice for them to truly, by the time we're done with Mary's story and we wrap it up, it would be nice for it to end where it started with them, and not for that memory to be tainted, because then it wouldn't have been a gift from the darkness. It would have been something totally different.
It wouldn't have been a gift. That's a good point, because I mean, it is hard to kind of keep her as that proverbial Mother Mary figure, which fits into her name for a reason.
Yeah,
that she's perfect and without sin, essentially. But is that a realistic goal? I mean, I get what you're saying. I would like that, because we did kind of take the dad down a couple pegs
Throughout
as we went throughout the seasons. Only in Kripke's run, but it was still there. But do we want to do that with the mom as well? I don't know. I'd like to keep her, but I don't know if that's a realistic expectation.
Yeah.
But
I get it. I think in a show like Supernatural, it's hard to keep everybody on, being seen through rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
It is hard. But it would be an interesting feat for the writers to try something different.
Well, because we've had, the Campbells turned out to all be bastards. John was a dickhead dad.
Look at her father, who was the ultimate asshole. I mean,
sold their family out.
Yeah.
Sold them out.
Yes. So it would be nice to see
another Bobby figure.
Right.
I think someone who cares about them unequivocally without regard to themselves. And that would be nice.
Bobby was never brought down.
No,
I mean,
Bobby was always Bobby,
had
a badass.
massive character flaws, but he never, in their eyes, he was never
still
diminished.
Perfect to them and to us as the audience. Yes, he had some issues, but it was never a deal breaker.
Right.
Excuse me, I'm choking to death. Mike Tuck.
Okay. However, with Mary, I think we're in a position right now with the show to really explore some areas that we have not been able to touch on. The mother has been off limits. I mean, they always found creative reasons or creative ways to bring her back, but we haven't got to see the true Mary, the one who we actually died,
the real person,
the one who died in the first episode.
Right. Yeah. Because essentially what they did in that first episode, like you said, Mike, they made her very vulnerable and they made her seem like this, almost enigmatic, figure.
Angelic, perfect figure that was struck
and
then
down.
As
the seasons went on, they, like you said, they found a way to bring her back and they brought her down a couple pegs with certain things. Not anything overall awful, I would say.
Well, like the deal with Yellow Eyes was to save her dad.
Right. So essentially, but if they go down that route where they keep bringing her down a peg or two, I don't want them to do that either. I'm just saying from experience, myself, I've always thought my dad was this wonderful human being. And then as I got older, you see the flaws in your parents. And I think that's more realistic in my eyes because I think everyone goes through that. And I'm not saying like, oh my God, my dad's the worst person ever.
Well,
but you see the things that make them a human being.
Exactly.
So is that a reason why Dean might be holding back talking to her?
Because I mean, holding back because he's scared.
It was weird for him not to be a little bit more emotional or a bit more shocked by the whole thing, because this is the person he's idolized his entire life.
So I wasn't the only one who felt that. Like, I don't feel like it was anything necessarily wrong with that element
the first
in the episode.
shot was fine. When he's talking to her about the memories and he's getting a little teary-eyed and he hugs her and he can't believe it. But after that, it was a little ho-hum. And I'm wondering if he's pushing away or holding her at arm's length.
Yeah, I felt like he was. I absolutely got that from the episode. I got that he was holding back.
Yeah, it did feel like that.
And I don't,
which makes sense.
And I'm thinking it's intentional because I think it was too obvious. Like, I expected Dean to just break down that his mom's back.
Yeah, something like that.
And maybe they were tired of making Dean cry because he cried with Chuck, and maybe they don't want to like diminish his character continually.
But it's his mom, dude.
Yeah,
everyone would cry.
Yeah,
doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah,
mom wins.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that's going to tie back into the main arc this year.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason. Maybe he's afraid he's going to lose her again. He doesn't want to get invested. Who knows?
But it would be nice to see, because, we've had seasons where Dean starts drinking more and he becomes more violent and he becomes more down this darker path. And Amara was kind of a turning point where there was something other than hate in him that drove him. But it was a bit obscure because what kind of is the nature of this relationship? Is it love or lust, or is it some kind of weird deity? You're attracted to them because power or something.
Right.
This could be the first time where Dean kind of, quote, heals as a person or has some motivation other than vengeance.
Yeah.
Because that's what his motivation has been because I've been rewatching some too from seasons, 8, 9, 10, 11 almost.
Yeah.
It's been, I'm going to get back at Abaddon, Metatron, the Steins, whoever the fuck is in my way because I have the mark.
Right.
It's been vengeance and war, and maybe this could be an opportunity to give his character a different route to go down. I mean, we thought we were going to get some of that with Demon Dean and his like carefree, I don't give a fuck anymore kind of attitude.
But that only lasted 3 episodes.
Exactly. There'd be some kind of, freedom in that I'm fucked no matter what mentality. But that didn't last very long. So maybe this will be a new route they're taking the character.
I'm definitely interested. And I think in that regard, Andrew Dabb and the crew, I did pretty damn good, because I don't think it was a flaw in the writing. I think it was intentionally to kind of make us wonder what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice to see. I thought Castiel's entrance in this episode was pretty good. The Superman shot going through the billboard.
One of the best introductions to Castiel for a season premiere.
I liked as Castiel, car thief, just punches that dude in the face, drives away. No questions asked.
I have a question for you, Mr. Loreman. Thomas, because you seem to remember all that stuff. Now, have we seen where angels go when they get banished?
Where they go when they get banished?
Like, where do they go when they get banished?
When they the Enochian symbol? I don't think we've ever seen that. They always just sent away.
So they get tossed like a shooting star?
Essentially, they get tossed away like trash or something that you threw out the car window.
See, I always wondered what happened, and I can't remember if they actually...
I thought they got sent back to heaven.
I always thought they were warded in some like angelic prison for a few minutes. That's what I thought.
I always thought they got sent back to heaven and you had to do the whole rigmarole of coming back down to earth, because that wasn't just a you immediately come back thing.
Yeah.
That was my understanding, but I don't think this is the first we see what happens.
Yeah. If you Supernatural fans out there listening and you know the answer, tweet us at Crossroads SPN or get into the chat room and let us know, or post on Facebook. Let us know if we are
talking out our ass.
Yeah, if we were mooks and we are not paying attention.
What we're doing.
But I did like that. He's just GTA's that guy, drives away, doesn't give a fuck.
You know what? And that's, I think, another highlight of this episode for me was that it was Castiel back to the basics. It was, to me, it seemed like season 4, season 5 Castiel. He was about his mission and he was not going to let anybody get in his way.
Right.
It wasn't the sad sap Castiel from season 9.
Who's lost and confused, who doesn't know what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel sorry for myself. This was Castiel knowing...
I need a car, get out of the way.
Yeah, I loved it.
I liked that too. I thought it was just funny because the guy's thinks he's in an episode of, the X-Files, and next thing he knows, he's waking up alone in a dirt road.
I would ask the same... I would think it was Superman, because that's how... Yeah. That's what it looked like to me.
What the fuck just happened?
A meteor hits the ground.
Yeah. But it was nice to see...
Baby Cass.
Yeah. God. So wrapped in a trench coat.
What if they did that to him?
That became his
That'd be terrible.
Kal-El.
That's a story. They nerfed him again.
Castiel,
Baby Cass.
There you go. There's connection there.
That's awful.
Anyway.
I think never mind. I'm not even going to say it.
Yeah, no,
don't even say it.
So we see Cass back at the bunker. He man-hugs Dean, which you said this off air.
I think their penis touched.
Their dicks touched.
Tips touched for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. When you hug
they embraced each other, and then they embraced each other below as well.
Yeah.
So
penis touch tips, dude. It's not
like a pretzel.
Oh, that's not touching. That's like
entwining. Yeah.
It's like the Schwartz in
I see a Schwartz is as big as mine.
It connects and just wraps automatically.
It wraps around. Yeah. There you go. That's what happened. But it was
Jesus.
What I liked about that scene is, and Mike, you brought it to my attention that I actually didn't even really put together at first. I think it's just because from the fan perspective, that's where my brain immediately went. Was
their dicks touching?
No, that was the other part.
Oh, okay.
No, Cass comes back. He's relieved that Dean's alive because they thought he was dead. Him and Sam at the end of season 11 think he's dead.
Moment, yeah.
But not only does he excited about Dean being alive, but he's immediately cares about Sam. There was this woman. We got to figure out what the fuck happened. It wasn't this one-sided friendship that we've usually see of Dean and Cass are buddies and Sam's also there too.
Yeah.
This felt more like Cass cares about the Winchesters.
Yeah, because I would say for the first 3 to 4 years of Castiel being around, it was more about he wasn't really sure what to think of Sam. He was Dean's brother.
He was the vessel for Lucifer, so he's already the enemy.
Yeah, and I like the last couple of years what they've done. It's they kind of leveled out the relationship, that he cares for them, and that that he's gonna fight for them. And I like that element a lot. Dean, it's almost like, hey, big brother has died. I'm gonna have to replace him, because he thought Dean was dead. And it seemed and I was wondering if that was the mission he was on at first. He's like, I gotta go protect Sam. I gotta get Sam back.
Well, I think it was because he's got to go back to the bunker because I got kicked out of the room and Sam's all I've got left.
Yeah,
I'm not just gonna let some woman with a gun hang out.
Yeah.
So I did like that bit,
well,
too.
even that moment when, again, if I'm jumping ahead, just stop me. But even more, the more aggressive Castiel, I loved the scene where Mary, and it shows another side of Mary that I liked as well, is when the veterinarian wasn't giving up the goods and she's all hurt him.
Yeah.
I loved it.
That was where Dean gets it, too, because she's immediately... Because that's what I did like about this episode, probably more than anything, is seeing the relationships between John and Mary and what parts Sam and Dean got.
Yeah.
Because Mary immediately is like, break his legs.
Yeah.
Which is something Dean has done. He's the guy who broke in hell to start the apocalypse. Meanwhile, John Winchester didn't. They tried to get him to break the first seal. He's the guy who would not do it. And that, to me, is also something from Sam. You know, he didn't want to just kill people. He's always about saving people. He went down the demon blood route so that he could exorcise demons without killing people.
Yeah.
I find that interesting that him and John have these similarities and Dean and Mary have these similarities. I'd like to see what Mary and Sam have in common, too, because they've never met, really.
Yeah.
She knows a baby. She doesn't know what he looks like at all because she doesn't remember anything, you know.
Y'all, wait a second now. Hold on a second. I'm going to go back here. Y'all are glossing over the Destiel moment.
What Destiel moment?
When
so stupid.
When come on now.
We're not glossing over.
You glossed over that.
I put it in the show notes.
I know you did, but you went past it, and it made me angry because I wanted to talk about it.
I didn't mean to. Sorry, Jesus Christ.
God, fuck, man.
Okay, well, we'll talk about your Destiel, right?
Okay, first of all,
so dicks were entwined, right?
Yeah, see, we were talking about it.
No,
I know.
You talked about the dicks being entwined, and then
that's
you
not enough for your horniness.
You didn't talk about Mary's face that she had when she saw.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so
Dicks,
first of all, yes,
eyebrow raise.
Yes, so they get this bro hug. I thought it was a bro hug. Looked pretty bro huggy to me.
Well, yeah, wouldn't you hug somebody you thought died? That was like
absolutely.
Your best friend.
Absolutely. And then they pan to Mary. And she has this look of like
inquisitive eyebrow raised.
Basically, she's thinking, Dean, do you suck his dick?
Oh,
that's exactly what I guarantee. Like, she's which one's pitcher and which one's catcher.
Does your mom think that when you hug men?
Well, I don't hug men and gently touch tips with them, like Thomas so thoughtfully said.
Oh, Jesus.
I was the one who came up with that.
I thought it was a funny little nod.
It was a funny nod.
Yeah.
I think. I don't. Of course, I think it's funny now, but
it is funny.
It is funny, but I think it's interesting to point that out because
it was definitely. I believe it was a meta moment, and it was absolutely intentional by Andrew Dabb. It was absolutely intentional for her to make that joke. It was obviously raising her eyebrows and she was saying, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Well, I mean,
do I have to meet my son-in-law?
Right.
This is my son and this is my boyfriend.
Yeah, and I'm sure the anti-Destiel people are probably throwing things at us right now. But whether you want to believe in Destiel, it doesn't matter. It does not matter if Destiel is a thing in Supernatural or not. That eyebrow raise was there.
Was meta.
And it was for that moment. It was and whether, let's say it wasn't even meta. Let's say it wasn't even Dabb giving a little nod to the Destiel fans.
You know?
It was there as, it was very obvious. Well, what's going on here? What's this about?
Who's this guy?
Exactly.
And that could mean anything.
Just like when you introduce, your parents for the first time, you introduce them to your significant other. Well, it's that eyebrow raise.
Like,
who's this?
Oh, it's a dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, yeah.
Did you just assume his gender? Unbelievable.
For God's sakes.
Unbelievable, Mary. He's an angel.
It's a woman angel in Cass's body. Yeah.
Anyway,
there's no labels in heaven.
There's no labels in heaven.
No, there isn't.
Or hell. We had the demon say that he possessed a 14-year-old girl at one point.
Actually, that dude,
I was a little disturbed by that.
I was too.
I'm
not gonna lie. That's Dabb trying to reach a whole other fan fiction level. He's like, "Hey guys, I got y'all covered. I got y'all covered."
Bro, I laughed my fucking ass off at that.
Demons are so bottom of the fucking barrel.
It was funny. It was funny. And I liked it because it shows how true. It brought back the evilness to demons. The fact
it did to you?
To me, it did. Yes, it was goofballs. Yes, it was goofy, but also the fact that he's possessing a 14-year-old woman or 14-year-old girl, not woman, sorry, 14-year-old girl.
Jesus.
And the fact that it kind of was creepy. It kind of bothered me.
Oh, it was
made
creepy.
My skin crawl a bit.
It was creepy, and you think of the whole invasion of privacy as the demon possesses you. But what I'm saying is, there's such jokes now.
Yeah.
They're
is that the point though? You think
that is the point? I think because I've been rewatching since going back to episode 1. And with Phantom Traveler, the very first time you see a demon bring the plane down, and just those black eyes, even in today, watching those, knowing what I know about how shitty demons become, that was still scary. You know, they used to be a threat.
Right.
Before the Hell's Gate was open at the end of season 2, only the strongest ones made it to Earth. Now every, loser has an all access pass to Earth. And I think Crowley's gone through enough, right hand men and servants, and so many of them have died that you just have whoever's left who can buy a suit at this point. Yeah. But it was creepy, but it was funny. But I'm just like, you guys are so not threats anymore, like you used to be. Only like the really big ones like Abaddon and Crowley himself really are. I felt that was a bit of an odd shift because demons used to be like the problem in season 5.
Well, dude, we talk about this all the time, but demons used to have this thing like, oh my God, a demon. Oh my God, how are we going to handle that? And now
super strong. They're a pain in the ass. You need to exercise them, but they could kill us. Now it's like, you got an angel blade, it's whatever.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's not even a thing now.
In the chat room, Reaver says, psst, psst, the angels are actually junkless.
No, Castiel banged that one chick.
No, the angel themselves, though.
Nah, but he used the penis on the body.
He was human at that time.
Listen,
he's got a penis.
Having junk isn't the only way you can have sex. I mean, these are angels. They can have some type of corporeal type sex.
What is this, like fucking Demolition Man?
You never know. It could be.
I've seen Avatar. You touch hair extensions.
I don't know about you, Ryan. That's terrible. I don't know about you, Ryan, but my sex is more spiritual than.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mine's more penetration.
Fucking ass it is.
Wait, what?
You don't. My freaking ass it is.
Okay.
No, the stories you've told, anybody who's listened to Rain Man ever is not going to believe that sentence, Mike, for a goddamn second.
It's true lovemaking when there's no touching.
That's fucking horseshit. My lovemaking includes penetration.
Try not touching somebody for a good 30 minutes, but be very close.
Jesus Christ.
Corporeal. It's very spiritual.
Anyway,
what dumbass books are you reading?
Moving on.
I don't know. How a 14-year-old thinks he gets laid? I don't know.
Written by Michael Flores. It was nice to see Castiel be a little bit more badass again. Like the veterinarian and not the vet so much, but the car driver guy, who apparently is like a part-time mechanic who just got assigned this job by the Men of Letters. Because I thought he was a Men of Letters.
Yeah, so
when he's in the suit and he's driving around and he's got a gun and he's all prepared. Next thing you know, he's at some mechanic shop.
He's just a rent.
He's like a rent-a-cop kind of thing. He comes with any black SUV.
Who are you talking about? I'm sorry, I lost track.
The driver, the Men of Letters driver. The Castiel just headbutts immediately because Cass is more like he was in season 4, a little more violent.
Yeah.
And, just I have a mission. Shut the fuck up. I thought the car driver was originally a Men of Letters, but now he's like working at some mechanic shop. So do you just get a guy with a gun when you rent a black SUV with fake plates?
Men of Letters are very up. I heard if it's on Super Wiki, they actually use Uber. And that's exactly what that guy
is. Uber driver?
Uber? Yeah.
That's not true. He would have been Muslim if he was an Uber driver.
Oh, Jesus. So Uber requires the guy to just not have any questions when you throw in a bound and gagged wounded individual into the back of the car.
If you get a good Uber driver, they ask no questions.
That's a big tip. Yeah.
Lady Bevel has the Uber app.
I was glad to see Cass headbutt that dude.
They haven't had a DUI problem for years in England.
Jesus
God.
Since 63.
Since 63. There you go. It was nice to see Cass be more badass and punch that, or just crack that dude in the face, though.
Yeah.
I did want to see a little more. I wanted that guy to be like totally fucked, though, from that headbutt.
So violent.
Well, here's why. I miss angels being like made of steel. Do you remember when Dean first punches Cass and he almost breaks his hand?
Yeah.
And you get headbutted by an angel. I get he doesn't have his wings. He's not fully powered like they used to be, but still, that should have been like the dude lost a tooth or something at least. Maybe I just wanted it a bit more violent. What does that say about me?
With you?
I don't know. But I mean, Men of Letters had Sam. You have to find some information somehow.
Maddie says it's Rent-A-Goon.
Is that an app? I didn't make that an app.
There was an app years ago where you can rent a posse.
Shut up.
Yeah,
really?
for real. And you can rent like a bunch of black dudes to hang with you.
Oh,
yeah, I would totally do that.
Dude, that's awesome.
Roll up into a club like 12 deep. Like what?
What's up?
What's up? This is my posse.
This is my posse.
Oh, God.
You got to say it that way.
Got to return them by midnight, though.
Oh, Jesus. They'll turn into pumpkins.
They turn into pussies?
Like some...
This is my rent a pussy. I mean, the posse. Sorry.
Flashlight?
Oh,
why are you renting that? All right, switching topics from disgusting sex stuff, because that's what we've just been on this whole fucking episode, apparently.
Now,
Sam, Men of Letters. I think this was the biggest, for me, this was the biggest part of the episode. You know, Mary coming back is a huge emotional thing for Dean.
Right.
But it did seem a little bit, he held back. Meanwhile, Sam and the Men of Letters feels like where the story's going to go for this season. That the Men of Letters British chapter, or whatever you want to call, which very explicitly stated British, she was upset about that, is
British.
like the new villain, at least at this time. And they did a fair amount of stuff to show that they were a threat, but I felt like a couple things could have been changed as well. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because for me, the violence and the torture, I was completely thought was a good idea, because it shows that they're not to be fucked with, that they're willing to do things.
I think. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
I say, let's be honest. Okay, can we all just discuss how hot she is? First and foremost.
I thought we were trying to get off.
We're trying to get away from the subject.
No,
can we hold on to your dick for 5 fucking seconds?
Wait, you want me to hold on to it?
Not really, because that's what you're doing now.
Can we put a pin in that and just come back later to it? We'll circle back around.
We'll circle back.
We'll circle jerk back around.
When we
to
talked
that.
about the scene where she gets choked out.
There you go.
Yeah, bring that one up, please.
Okay, now I think the real threat, and I hope, again, this is me completely spitballing and taking a few things and running with it. But as we know, the monsters have been a gray area for about, I would say, going on 4 years now. Meaning, we have found that this is post-Kripke, where not all monsters are bad, that we've learned that there is a humanity to them, to certain ones, and they're now willing to let some go. Not all of them are under a blanket of guilt. Okay, as we've seen them progress along, we've seen the writers take drastic measures to change the way we look at monsters. We had Benny started it off. If you remember, the first time Dean was willing to actually Sam befriended monsters all the time.
Yeah, and demons.
And
he banged demons.
Exactly. Dean never did. And I think that was a turning point when Dean hooked up with Benny and they became bros for that season.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, I think, obviously there's going to be a lot more to it, but I think this whole angle of them basically putting up this blanket of guilt on every single monster who enters England and just putting them under, and they are monster-free since 1963.
Monster-free since 63.
I think that's going to present an issue.
Oh, I think so.
I think there's going to be some that are not exactly think that's the way you should do things.
Well, that was probably my biggest...
Because they laid it on thick.
They did.
They showed savagely how they... they showed the entire
robotically cold-hearted. Just
there was no thought. There was no emotion. Yes, it was a system.
It was a slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
they had a drain grate for the blood and everything. It was systematic. It was planned, and it may even be used to show the vast difference between how Sam and Dean do things. Like, okay, yeah, you guys may be a lot more not productive, but effective, but you're also emotionless. How many innocent people are you killing that's getting wrapped up in your productiveness? I mean, Sam's been soulless. Dean was a vampire for like a day and a half. If you just militaristically killed them, what have you lost then?
Yeah, and I think that might be a good way to contrast the two. Like, yeah, Sam and Dean, because they've showed us the last 2 years that they've made a lot of decisions that have made things worse. Now this is them not backtracking, but going full circle, showing, okay, let's say they did things more productively and they got down to business. You're taking the human side out of hunting, and now they're no different in a lot of ways than these savage monsters.
They're just hunting things. They're not saving people.
And look at Dean made a point to say it to his mother.
It's the family business motto. And I think, like you said, that'll be something that gets touched on throughout the season. I hope so.
It'll strengthen the Men of Letters storyline a lot.
At the same time, I felt like that was the biggest misstep for the Men of Letters storyline.
In terms of what?
Just what it could have been. I talked about this in one of the written things I've done for the website. If you guys want to check that out, check out the Facebook page. But what I originally assumed the Men of Letters would be based, especially on the season 11 finale, where the Winchesters are responsible for the darkness. That was a big thing in season 11. It's their fault. They have to clean it up.
Yeah.
They've been responsible for angels falling somewhat. more Castiel in that regard, but they let the demon gate stay open. They're responsible for the darkness getting out. They're responsible for the apocalypse. They're responsible for Leviathans. They're responsible for the problems of the world. And the Menelaers have watched this. They said that they've been watching them since they screwed up the first apocalypse, essentially. And what I wanted from the Menelaers, and what I still want, and I think there is time, is I wanted them to be this karma backlash for their actions. They've never had to answer to anybody. Even in season 11, God is on their side. Crowley's kept demons away from the Winchesters. Castiel's kept the angels from killing them. God himself is like, yeah, you guys are fine. No matter what you do, good or bad, you're going to heaven. We're bros. Amara even turned around and went from loving Dean to bringing back their mom. But nobody has held them responsible for the shit they've done. How much blood is on their hands because of their actions? This was something that was brought up in season 5 when those two hunters shotgun blast them in their hotel room.
Yeah, so
they blamed them. I thought the Men of Letters could have been like Agent Hicks again, where we are a human organization that is holding you accountable for your actions because you haven't answered to anybody.
Well, holding you accountable for your actions, and we know that you're doing things in the supernatural
and this
world.
comes back to
hold on a second. You're saying that they're not doing that?
No, what they
you don't know that we were one episode in,
and that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm jumping the gun.
You are, because to me, that the entire point was that, like, yeah, they're a little Gestapo about it, but yeah, they are. Listen, we've been watching you. We were trying to sit back, and we realized that we need to interfere because how much good are you doing? I think that was the point.
Yeah,
to me, it seemed more like she was saying, "We're going to make." She says, "We're going to make America safe again." Nice Trump reference. But,
yeah. Well, obviously, yes.
But she's saying that the Winchesters suck at killing monsters, not that they're the problem for the apocalyptic events of this planet.
I disagree. I think she did say that.
Season 11's premiere, because I watched this just recently with the devil in the details. I had a stroke there too, like Mike.
Yeah, but yours was only one stroke. He had 32.
Lucifer says, when it comes down to it, you pick each other over the world every single time.
Yeah.
And the core aspect of storytelling is that you put pressure on the protagonist until they have to make a decision. And the greater the pressure, the more revealing the decision they make is. And they always choose, rather than let the darkness, rather than prevent the end of the world from happening, I'm going to pick my brother. Rather than let him jump in the cage and end it all, I'm going to pick, let's go the hard way. And how many bad things happen? I feel like the Men of Letters can be this backlash/punishment for those decisions, those selfish decisions that they've made.
I think it is. And maybe it's not.
It might be too early. Maybe it's not. Her saying we're going to make your system better. Like there's some kind of, what's the word?
Authority.
Consultant for a firm on how to kill monsters better, rather than hold them accountable. You're going to jail, Men of Letters jail, essentially, is what I wanted to see.
No, I see that, and I get your point, and I do agree. I do want them to be held accountable, not because I dislike them, but obviously that's just a great narrative. But I think it is, though. I mean, in a lot of ways, the Men of Letters and what's coming out or what's going to be going on this season has everything to do with what they've been doing. That's the reason why they have revealed themselves. Yeah. So I just think we got to give it time. I think we're on the first episode.
I know, but and that's what I'm saying. This comes back to the concept that I felt like this was a half a premiere rather than a premiere.
That's what they've been doing for the last couple of years.
I'm tired of that.
We're not really getting
just put
to be continued.
That's too hard. It's actually the budget doesn't permit
that fucking text overlay.
That extra title sequence is about $700.
Jesus Christ, I'm in the wrong industry.
It's probably more than that. Actually,
this is something I said earlier this week in the written thing too, is that we need to bring back to be continued, because that allows you to mentally put a pause or a bookmark that this story's not done. Whereas because we've been doing that with season 11 and season 10, we should have that back into it if you're not going to have a full-on premiere episode. Like the mid-season premiere of season 11 where the devil explains everything and he inhabits Castiel and he kills Rowena, that's a premiere. A lot of shit happens in that episode. But these other ones are part 1 and 2. So there could be a lot more. And I may be talking out of my ass this time next week.
I just think it's too early to say
I do want to see more of that.
So, but you're
punishment. How good are you guys really? What good do you do versus what harm has come about because of you?
Okay, hold on a second. Now, Thomas, are you trying to say that there is no cause and effect here?
What do you mean no cause
You don't see a cause and effect? You don't see that the mental letters is an effect because of what Sam and
the mental letters showing up is an effect because of Sam and Dean.
Right.
But
So
then she
far
says,
we got step one.
But then she says the reason she's there is because you guys suck at your monster elimination, rather than you guys are the problem. I wanted her to say you two are the problem, which Lucifer did. You picking Dean over the world is why you're being tortured right now.
I think we're getting there, and I
hope we do.
And I think that's the point, because they want to fix and clean up their mess, but I don't think they're just going to let them walk away. I think she's trying to torture all the names and numbers of every hunter they know, so they can do the exact same thing to them. I think they want to clean up the town. They want to make America great again. There's a reason why they use the Trump joke
phrase
there, because that's what a lot of people think Trump's going to do. He's going to clean up this town and get rid of people, and they're going to all disappear at night. I think that's the point. They're a threat towards the hunters. I think they want to eliminate them. They're the big bad of the season. So I think there is a comeuppance to pay. Comeuppance is the same word as pay. So
right,
let's get rid
That's an
of
academic
that
thing. Yeah, you should probably.
I basically just said pay.
Yeah, pay. Would you guys like to pay?
I did think, and you're right, that may be where they take it. I hope that is where they take it.
Yeah.
But when she's like, we have a systematic system with bridges, like she's like, you guys suck at your job, we're great at ours. But Sam responds with, well, where were you to stop the apocalypse? And she's like,
I thought
well, we weren't there to stop the apocalypse, but we have these lovely bridge system. Like, nobody cares at that point. You weren't there for when it really mattered. But maybe this is the whole, the old guys behind the curtain who make these decisions, maybe they're involved jerking it
behind the curtain.
Maybe they're more involved than we think they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unanswered questions, but
what?
Sam was still probably my favorite part of the episode.
Yeah, he was definitely the highlight of the entire episode.
Fucking badass, dude. That screw you each time.
Dude, it was amazing.
And it was weird because he didn't say fuck you, but it had like more punch to it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question here because I was a little lost on the part where she turns the water on him. Was it just she just trying to like freeze him out and give him hypothermia? Because if you looked where the water was coming out, the bulb was gone, and I thought like it could have been like electrical
shock.
Water. Yeah, like shock. Yeah, but
I think it was a half, freezing hypothermia, half Chinese water torture.
Ah, okay.
That kind of thing.
They should have just waterboarded him.
It could have been a little bit of that too. Who knows?
Was it just me, or did you feel bad for Sam?
Oh yeah, dude. Jesus Christ.
How does Sam know how to lay it on? Jared Padalecki knows how to put on the sad face, the oh man, here it goes again. Like, I just feel so bad for him when he gets the shit into the stick. He always is the one to get tortured.
Think about that. How many times has he been tortured? He has been strapped to a chair more times.
And that face he made when he saw the water come, he's like, here we go again.
I've been here.
But that line that he said,
oh yeah,
oh my god, and when he said, listen, I've been tortured by Lucifer, lady,
the devil himself.
Like, what are you gonna do to me? And that is so effing true.
That felt, what that felt like? The Joker in The Dark Knight. You have nothing to threaten me with all of your strength. Like that right there. Because Sam has seen the worst that's imaginable. So yeah, it may hurt, but he doesn't give a fuck. Both mentally and physically, he's been tortured beyond anything else anyone has ever experienced.
Look, okay, the simple fact that he says, I've been tortured by the devil himself. Right there, you should know that. Well, fuck, we can't do anything with this guy. Like, I might as well fuck. All right, well,
unlock the chains.
Dude, there's nothing you can fucking do on the planet that would make him break if the fucking devil tortured him and he didn't break.
Yeah.
You should probably just quit your day job, go back to fucking Britain.
Yeah, I think she almost did when she found out.
Once they realized that this wasn't working.
When she found out Dean was alive, was priceless. Like, her facial expression was like, I'm fucked.
Fuck.
It was great. It was such a good reaction because I think anybody who
knows anything about
allegedly
them.
She's been watching them right for years.
Right.
So I think she knows firsthand what they're capable of. So the fact that Dean is, I think she already knew she was going into a shitstorm, but the fact that Dean was dead probably like, well, got that one out of the way. And then all of a sudden when she thinks things
I'm back, bitch.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Yeah.
I've made a terrible mistake.
That was good.
I did like that because it does seem like they And that is the cool thing about the Winchesters is that despite what the Menelaers knows by watching them all these years, you have no grasp of what they've been through. Sam cannot be tortured to get information. Dean will not fucking die like a bad roach. You know, he comes back from purgatory, hell, it doesn't matter.
And you bring up a good point, because reading history is a lot different than living history. And Lady Bevel can read all day.
Study all you want about World War II. It doesn't mean you know what the fuck happened there.
Yeah, she can read all day long about Sam and Dean from far away and watching pictures and hearing news and rumors and gossip. But when she's actually there, living it, not only is she going to realize that she's in over her head, but also I think we already saw a bits of that in her facial expressions. I think she's already being won over by the Winchester dick.
I mean, dude.
Like, no, I'm serious. It's the Winchester dick power. Like, as soon as it's in front of you,
powerful.
You start feeling and you start joining their side. When she saw how resistant Sam was and how, like, it's almost
creative.
Like
despite being drugged out of his mind, he fakes his own death to capture her.
There was a sense of respect there when she was watching him on the camera. And it's almost like, okay, I don't really want to do this. What am I doing?
I mean, look, dude, it's like when you watch porn, you're like, man, I could do that. And then when you get in front of it, you're like, fuck.
When you're being filmed?
Yeah, you're like, shit, I don't know if I can do this now. Like, it's the same thing, man.
Have you done that or something?
I don't know.
What'd you do this summer?
Don't worry about it.
Hey, it's like when you suck a guy's dick, you know, and you're like, yeah, I could do this. And then you like have the dick in your mouth.
Video
like,
after video. You think you got it down. You bought the cucumber. Real life, though, it's completely different.
How do you know that?
That's because I watched you this summer.
Don't try to flip it on him, right?
Because you started the whole thing.
I was talking about, like
Carrots.
Sexual porn, but okay.
Sure, right. Whatever. We know what you did. We've been watching you.
So do you think that they may have showed their hand too soon with Lady Bevel? Because I think, are we all in agreement that she's going to end up being on Team Winchester?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's going to get banged by Dean.
Okay, I didn't say anything about that. I didn't, although I'd be okay with that. I'm just saying, or marry. Why not marry a Lady Bevel?
Scissors sisters.
There we go. Scissors sisters.
Anyways, let's get back on a serious note here.
No, I agree. I think that she will quickly, like Castiel, she goes after the Winchesters because she needs to. It's an assignment. It's a job. But then the higher-ups are going to be playing a completely different game than the Winchesters, and you have to pick sides like Cass did. I think it's going to be very reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
I mean, she has a bit different allegiances, though, and she has a kid that she has to worry about, so I could see them pulling some kind of, you disobey our rules, we have the maid murder your son kind of thing.
Terrible.
Dude, other shows have put that in as a concept, you know?
Because they did say, what was that line that she said about when they were, when her partner was like, hey, should we call in for backup? I forgot the name of the guy.
Yeah, the
guy.
She
said, no, he's a psychopath.
I never want to see him. He's a psychopath.
That's guy.
So already right there, you can tell she has some issue with the way things are done.
Yeah.
So,
her Mr. Wolf, from Pulp Fiction, whoever this guy is someone who's very well trained, very skilled. So I think she also, though, is the tip of the Men of Letters iceberg.
I just hope, Thomas, that I hope that, like, it was kind of, I don't want to say it was easy to figure out if that's what they're going to do.
It was easy to follow.
And I think even though they might have revealed their hands a little too soon with Lady Bevel coming to the side of Team Winchester, if that's, I'm calling it. I think that's what's going to happen. It seemed like it was going in that direction just by some of the choices she made.
Yeah.
If they do that, because it was easily predictable, I'm hoping they go a lot further with her character, meaning there is like the maid and it has the daughter. I'm not saying that's what I want, but we need to peel back the layers of her character, and there needs to be some depth there, not just, hey, I'm Team Winchester because you guys are awesome. Boring. We've already seen it. I want to I wouldn't mind fully getting into this character this year. I know there's some people out there who aren't really into this character, Lady Bevel, but
I don't think she's had enough time.
They brought her in. Brought her in. They've introduced her. Obviously, they have a story for her, and I would like for her to actually, let's get into this. Let's get into her character. Let's see if we can, be challenged. Let's see if we can actually be challenged as viewers and audiences to see if our allegiances may be challenged as well.
The biggest thing I want,
wouldn't it be great to like somebody like Crowley? Like we used to like, we always liked Crowley when he was against the Winchesters. You remember?
Yeah.
You remember how contradictory our feelings were?
Our thoughts were on that.
Yeah,
we loved him.
I love Crowley, but I hate him. Oh, I like the Winchesters, but I don't want him to kill Crowley or them to kill Crowley. I would like to bring that back, and if they can manage to do that with a Lady Bevel type character, that would be a win.
Well, that's the thing. I want more than anything with this character to be a planned out character.
Absolutely.
I don't want. I know. We wanted Cole to be something big. It felt like Cole was an idea that didn't pan out, or at least hasn't yet, that they've just kind of moved on from. And that's something that Kripke's era never had characters just thrown in that didn't have some purpose. They didn't tell some part of the story. They
had a drawn out path where they were going with those characters.
Bella was in the episode to be both an antagonist,
she was great,
as well as someone who was on their side. But she's ultimately a lesson to Dean about hellhounds and where he will end up at the end of that season. You know, there are other characters. Gordon becomes a vampire, the monster, and how quickly you can go down that side if you're not careful. And what is Sam's true purpose, you know, which you don't know at that time.
Yeah.
All these characters are brought in for a reason. I don't want her to be brought in because wouldn't it be cool if we had this character? I want her to be planned and be like, she's in it from here to here, then she's going to do this and that, and then at the end of the season, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I want it to be planned.
And they have it, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I can't quite remember Rowena's complete narrative and her arc. But they did bring her in, and I think that's a character that they haven't squandered, that they continue to develop. But has she been connected to help reflect any type of, you know, emotional qualities?
Which character?
Rowena.
She's been more centrically tied to Crowley's story.
To help kind of propel him a bit.
Right.
So in
the
that
humanity
way,
in both of them finding each other again and that kind of thing.
So they have done it recently with Rowena.
Rowena felt more thought out, though. She was always kind of part of Crowley as the King of Hell and her trying to manipulate him from behind the scenes. And then she goes Team Lucifer because he's the true king and the true power. And that doesn't pan out well for her at all. You know, she's been a bit more thought out. She's always been
that's what I'm saying.
a developed character. Yeah.
I'm using her as an example, that she was a good example.
She was a good example, yes. I want more of that. I don't want just a character that we bring in and maybe they're successful, maybe we bring them back, maybe we don't.
Well, much like with Felicia Day.
Felicia Day was a character that was successful that they brought back now and then, but outside of season 7 was never plot relevant except for the very end of season 10.
Right, she was fan service. She was there for fan service.
Cole
like, hey guys, Felicia Day as Felicia Day!
Cole was plot relevant in the beginning with Dean and his past, but that has never been touched on since that incarnation. And what Dean exactly killed at the beginning of all those years ago at the beginning of season 10. You know, that's my problem, is that if that's a loose end. I don't want more loose ends.
Yeah, you can't bring in another character and just make it.
I don't think so. I don't think you're
think
do
she
that.
can be
I don't
interesting.
think so either,
I think she can be a fun character and a good character, but I agree. I don't want it just a Castiel remake where she just switches sides and that's it. I want it to be more, maybe she doesn't, or she wants to, but she can't, or, you know, a little bit more to it.
A unique character that we haven't seen.
But we got time.
Oh, absolutely. It's the first episode.
Drama. Thomas needs some drama out of her.
I need some drama.
Need some drama out of her.
Yeah. Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, Crowley hunting down Lucifer, checking out all the corpses. I did like that bit. He wasn't in it very much, so I didn't know if he exactly needed to be, but I liked his bit because Crowley's always funny. I loved his, like, as the kids say, duh.
Oh, yeah,
that just making fun of demons as he before he kills them.
He doesn't need any lines, and he's good.
Doesn't, dude. Every line he has is just gold.
I like when he rolled his eyes when the guy was telling the story about possessing the chick.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my god,
because he's over it.
Yeah, he's like, oh god.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Crowley this year, because I honestly don't have any idea. I don't have any idea, because as we've heard, Lucifer is going to be more of a Castiel storyline, right? Isn't that what we've heard?
That was my understanding, but maybe it'll be a Cass and Crowley hunt Lucifer.
Yeah, and then of course we know that Rowena and Gavin is coming back, Crowley's son.
The whole Crowley family reunion.
That's going to be fun, whatever episode they do that on. But I can't really pinpoint Crowley's storyline.
Other than he wants revenge against Lucifer for making him, lick the floor last season.
I laugh every time they say that to him.
Yeah.
You lick the floor.
Thanks. I forgot.
But is that his only motive? Crowley is somebody to go after revenge, but not just solely for the sake of revenge.
He's a bit more intelligent.
He's smarter than that.
Than revenge. Revenge is a very primal, like not thought out type.
That's a Dean motive.
To be frank,
we love Dean, but he flat out charges the Stein household just to murder everybody.
To be fair, he had the mark of Cain.
Yeah, so he was fine. But my point is, Crowley is somebody who tricks Dean to get the mark because it'll help him kill Abaddon. Kills Abaddon because he wants control of hell again, not because he gives a shit.
He's well thought out. All his actions. He's a chess player.
He's a chess player.
Yeah.
So what is the ulterior motive here? Why hunt Lucifer? Yes, he's weak, but can you still take him? Regular angels smite demons all the fucking time, or at least they used to.
Yeah.
And we know he's a powerful demon, but is he still somewhat influenced by those human emotions that he discovered from season 8 onward? You know, what is his motive at this point is my question. But I like seeing Lucifer's burnt out corpse husk trail, you know, and keep that he can possess other people, but for like 15 minutes rather than Sam and Castiel. So we'll see. I want to know, though, if they'll ever have Pellegrino back. I'm going to be really upset if that...
He's dead.
Oh, here we go.
I want him back. I know it's not going to be in the beginning, but I want him to make an appearance sometime throughout the season.
I don't want them bringing him back just to say, hey, guys,
I'm back.
Mark Pellegrino as Mark Pellegrino. Like,
no,
I
want him
that
back as Lucifer at some point throughout this
But it has to serve a point. Like, what they did last year with it was good.
What worked, because that's what they recognized. That's what Sam and Dean knew of Lucifer as.
That's why it worked.
But
now,
even
if
he
they
was
just
still held that form when he was in Cass's head.
I understand that, but it has to be for a reason.
Thomas.
It has to be for a reason. It can't be just because we want it. Like
I want that actor.
I'm on board. I already was attacked by people saying
in the street
to get over Mark Pellegrino on Twitter. Like, oh, it's not about Mark Pellegrino. I'm like, yes, it is.
Yes,
I love Mark Pellegrino, and I love him as Lucifer. But the thing is, I also want him back if it feels right. I don't want him back just because they shove it down my asshole.
Down your asshole?
Yes.
No, see, my thing, though, is if you have Lucifer in the show, you have Mark Pellegrino in the show. That's like saying if Captain Jack Sparrow is all of a sudden a different actor because he was brought back from the dead.
Totally different.
It's an iconic role for us.
So different. No, it's not. Can you repeat that analogy, please? And I want you to say it really slow, and I want you to tell me if that really makes sense to you.
I even didn't understand that.
Mark
that
Pellegrino
analogy.
is Lucifer. In the Supernatural show for the fandom, that is Lucifer. Correct?
Yes.
We know that's not his actual physical face because we've never seen an angel in what their true form is.
Right. They're roughly the size
of a skyscraper.
Chrysler building.
Yeah.
Don't try to beat me to it.
Yeah. We know he's going to have a different actor for right now, but I want him to ultimately make a return because for me, this character looks a certain way and is portrayed by only this actor. That's as if after Pirates 2, they had Johnny Depp. He came back from the dead as a different actor playing Captain Jack Sparrow. You can say it's the same person all you fucking want. You can explain away why they look different, but it's not the same. And I know I might be on the minority on that, but that is my stance. I want to see him, therefore wrong, right? I want to see Mark Pellegrino at some point return in some facet.
Thomas,
yes, I agree with you, Mike, though. It has to make sense.
You might as well let it go, dude. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't want to be a
man
Debbie
can
Downer.
dream, Ryan. I know I'm probably wrong. I know I'm probably screwed on this, but
I don't
a man
want to be
can
a
dream.
Debbie Downer, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think there's a way where they can explain it where, at least for me, this is me, my opinion. There's not a way they can explain it where I'm going to go, oh, that totally makes sense. I just think it'll be forced.
It will be forced, but if they do find a way to do it to where it's the original vessel, because we already know that he's not dead, if they find a way to use that guy, then I'm all for it. But the thing is it has to be done carefully because I'm not a fan of fan service. Yeah. I don't feel like
that's fan
if
service,
I want fan service, I'll go back and watch. If I feel nostalgic, I'll go back and watch other episodes. If it's natural and it feels good, then fine.
See, I don't feel like that's nostalgic so much as that is sticking to established canon and roles necessarily. But I get what you're saying. And I understand that I'm probably screwed on this because of actor reasons behind the scenes. But
listen, Rick Springfield is the new Lucifer, and you just have to deal with it.
Now it is. Now I am in hell. So with that, guys, I think probably we start moving on to final thoughts. I mean, this was very much a part 1 of 2 for a premiere. I think that's what they've done for the last 2 seasons. I feel like that's what they're going to do now as well. Because we had some things resolved, but we didn't finish anything. Sam's still trapped and being tortured. Dean and Mary and Castiel are hunting him down. But I mean, unless you guys want to divert anything. Thoughts?
No, I don't disagree. I think it definitely is a part one of a two-parter, and I think, you know, and I brought this point up too, even on DC on CW, is that Arrow, Flash, even those shows seem like the first episode was a part one of a two-part series, and I think, and I even called that. I think I posted it in our chat for this show. I said, was this like a part one? Like it felt like the two-parter, like Arrow, Flash. And I think I understand why they do it. And I agree with you, Thomas, that the to be continued should come back. I just
is it a bit archaic? Yes, but I think
it would work, man. It makes sense.
TV is the one place where we hold each installment as we lord it upon all the others, or we demonize it for being worse. But nobody looks at a book and says chapter 53 was great, but chapter 54 sucked ass. Like nobody, you say the book was good.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think we need to think of shows like that. The season was good because the season story made sense. No, you know, the 5 minutes of a movie don't tell you the entire movie.
Yeah. Well, unless it's a Tarantino flick.
Unless it's a Tarantino flick.
But no, I liked the episode. I did. I liked Castiel's introduction into the season. That was awesome. I think we're going to get a more no nonsense Castiel.
I like that idea.
I do too. I think we're going to get back to more, like they said, more family roots. And I think bringing Mary back, at first I was kind of like, I don't know about this.
Skeptical.
But I think the more as this goes on, it will give us more depth to that character. Because we've always looked at the character one way. And I think
from their perspective.
And I think now we're actually going to get firsthand experience of how this character is. And you can't tell me that the actress that plays her isn't thrilled to actually expand on this character that, you know, essentially she was in a couple episodes. She burned on the ceiling in one of them, and she hasn't been able to play this character.
She had no idea. 12 years later, she'd be playing this role again.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what's cool about this show, and that's what I love about Supernatural, is that this actress is able to get another chance at playing a character that, you know, essentially she died on a ceiling, and that was her character for the longest time. So I think seeing Sammy be super fucking badass and take that torture was probably one of the coolest things we've seen in a long time.
Well, this was mentioned in the chat by Quick Reaver, but it's something that we didn't touch on, which is very true, that touches on that. He's, as far as he knows, everyone he knows is dead or gone.
Right, exactly.
He has no reason to tell her anything. He doesn't give a fuck anymore.
No.
You know?
Well, you get that. I mean, he played that very, very well. Dude, I'm not going to lie, for the first time in a long time, when she took the blowtorch to his foot, I actually kind of screamed away, dude. Like, I was like, oh.
Padalecki's scream at that point, I was like, that was so well acted. I was like, fuck that. My foot hurts.
I'm going to bring this up briefly, and I know I had one problem with the episode, and it was essentially the fight scene with Dean and the assassin
woman
chick.
Yeah.
We've seen Dean battle the most powerful fucking dudes and whip their ass in hand-to-hand combat. And essentially, I know why they did it. They did it so that him and Cass would get overwhelmed, and then Mary would have to kill her.
Well, it also establishes the Men of Letters as a threat.
Exactly. I just think that seeing Dean get his ass whipped was a little much. I mean, but again, I understand what they were doing with it, and it makes sense when you think about it. But I had a little bit of a problem with that because I mean,
it was a little silly.
It was a little silly. I mean,
especially after season 10 and what's been established as his abilities in a fight.
Especially after Sam said, "Hey, you know, we took on Lucifer."
Right.
You know, as a rebuttal to being tortured, but Dean's gonna get knocked out by brass knuckles.
Exactly.
He should have been like, I've you know, bare knuckle cage matched the devil like last year.
Yeah.
So I had a little bit of weird thought on that one, but other than that, I like the episode. I would, if I'm gonna grade it, if we're doing grading, I'm gonna give I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B. I think it was a solid episode. I think that might change when we see the second part of it in episode 2. So
fair enough. Mike?
I felt like it was a good episode, and I think Ryan might have said this, but it felt like a lot of the episodes on CW this year, the season premieres, where if they were episode 3, 4, 5, or 6, it would be an A episode. But because it's a season premiere,
it's a little underwhelming.
I'm grading it a little harsher because you have to kick open those doors.
Yeah.
Especially, you have Andrew Dabb. You have a whole new writing room. You have
new chapter.
Don't fool yourself into thinking you don't have something to prove. You do.
Yeah.
You do have something to prove. And the episode as a standalone episode, academically, the writing was fine. it was actually pretty damn well written out. But for a season premiere, it just felt kind of, oh, okay. After us waiting for 4 or 5 months during the summer hiatus to have something that really didn't feel complete. And again, it wasn't bad, just felt kind of, oh, it's over. That's too bad.
Yeah.
What did we really see? Well, we saw Sam get tortured. And honestly, if the Sam scenes weren't in it, the episode probably wouldn't have even been that good. I think what saved this episode was Sam. I think that was a strong element of the episode. I felt that even though I liked the exchange between Dean and Mary, I feel a little sad as a longtime fan and viewer of the show that after 12 years he finally sees his mother, and I feel like they're holding back, and I don't know if Dean is holding back or if the writers are holding back for a reason. Maybe they don't want to challenge the Chuck scene where he had this son and father moment where he's asking God/Father, why have you ignored us? Why do you allow these things to happen? Or do you really want to challenge that scene so soon? Who knows? Maybe they're thinking all these things. So maybe they're waiting for a better moment to have Dean and Mary really talk about things. Either way, I think it was a solid episode. But as a season premiere, it was a B+.
B+?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you need to hit it out of the park on the premiere. I don't like the part 1, part 2. There's nothing wrong with it. Like you said,
No.
It's from a textbook standpoint, it's well written, it's well paced. There's nothing wrong. But the premiere episodes should be things you remember. Their dad sacrificing themselves in season 2, Castiel appearance in season 4, things like that should be memorable. And to have part 1 for part 2 to follow up, especially after the strength of season 11, and you really need to hit it out of the park and show you could show us a brutal men of letters that are, you showed us that they kill systematically and they have a planned routine for monsters, but they're half-assing it with this human torture. Now, I liked how they used chains and padlocks rather than the traditional rope that every other person's used to bind the brothers to a chair. Because it shows that they think the next one. You can't just saw through that with a sharpened piece of wood. But I like that. But I felt like they still kind of held back. They needed to really bring it to this premiere episode because, like you said, I think about Dean's meeting his mom, and then I compare that to him meeting just the vision of her in season 2, What Is and What Should Never Be, one of my favorite episodes, where he's like in a dream state from the Jinn, and how emotional he was at that point, and he spent some time with her at that point too, but then he realizes it's a dream. I get that there's more there, but this is real. He should have had more. Not to say that his acting was bad, but like you said, are the writers pulling back on that deliberately, or what is the end goal with that? I would have liked to seen that. I had my gripes about the men of letters, what they felt like they were doing versus what I felt like they should do. But then again, it is too early to call that. But overall, it's felt like we set up some stuff and we had some good interaction, but we just didn't kick it out of the park like I would have liked. So for me, this one's a B-. And we'll see. And I'll probably give a new grade as you see the first 2 episodes to what the real premiere is.
We did that last year.
Yeah. So with that, guys, we'll have to wait till next week and find out. But we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get into the discussion from you guys on what you thought on the episode, as well as a bit of, what we assume will happen with episode 2, which is Mamma Mia. Episode 2, that's the name? Jesus God. All right, we'll be back in a minute.
Supernatural, The Crossroads will be right back.
Well, I'm not plotting to kill Barry Allen. I'm listening to Rain Man Digital's DC on CW.
Yeah, but we didn't see any trick arrows or anything like that last year, really.
No, I think didn't we see in season 3? We saw the boxing glove arrow.
But last year was the zip liner.
Yeah, which is we've seen that. Yeah, which we've seen 1,000 million times. This was a new arrow, and then what was the other one?
The parachute arrow.
The parachute arrow. Yeah, dude. Fuck, those were killer. How does he know he's grabbing that arrow? Okay, let me preface this, because in, say, Avengers, Hawkeye has a little thing on his bow, and the arrow that swims, it moves around, and he grabs it, that he knows what that arrow is. He types in a code. I think it would be a funny joke if they did it where Oliver goes to shoot one and he pulls the wrong arrow. Just pulls a regular arrow.
An impregnation arrow.
That's the one he uses when he's on the salmon.
He gets Felicity pregnant. Oh shit! The wrong arrow.
Whoops! Shot you with my semen. Oh well.
Okay, I got this abortion arrow. Open up.
It's just got a hook on the end of it.
No.
He fucking drills him in the knee with an arrow.
That's exactly what he did to the other dude.
He did it to Roy, too.
I liked that.
Right, he did, but that's fucked up.
But that just reminds you, like, how solo and hardcore he was.
At least he didn't hit that dude in the knee with the fucking impregnation arrow.
Was his knees gonna get pregnant? What if Thea gets in the way of it?
No! Oh. Jesus. Definitely
That
fought the
wet foot
abortion.
baby comes out.
Brother and the son at the same time.
Fucking bucktooth. Oh, that's fucked up. Ugh.
How do you explain that one to Felicity? Keep that one a secret.
This is my son.
Hey, Dad. Hi, Dad, Uncle.
Hey, Uncle Daddy.
Uncle Daddy. Uncle Daddy. Your mama's sister wants you in the other room. I pooped my pants.
It didn't ruin the episode, but it was the weakest part of the entire episode, and it kind of sucked. It was just the nail in the coffin of a character they squandered.
Yep.
And then it's like they hated her. Maybe they hated Laurel, the actor.
Why? Because of the retarded statue?
Yeah, then they give her a retarded-looking statue.
Dude, that statue.
It looks like Oliver's son that he had with Thea. Our daughter.
Hey, Uncle Daddy. What would that be? What would her...
Who designed that? A child in art class?
Dude, I put that in here. It says...
My kid
Laurel
sculpted something better than that in third grade.
Laurel statue is derpy. Looks fucking retarded, dude.
And it was like, I don't know what made it worse is when they shot it from below.
Maybe they wasted
It
their...
didn't look like Batman.
Maybe...
Hi, my name is Black Canary. I'm here to fight crime. Yay! That's my canary cry. I will get you with that.
I pooped my pants.
Check out the new DC fan show, DC on CW, covering topics from The Arrow, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. Head over to RainmanDigitalMedia.com to get more details.
Hey, ass butt.
Do you love Supernatural, The Crossroads? Tell the rest of the world by representing the show on your buy.
Don't objectify me.
With the Crossroads tees. The first run of shirts are available to own. The shirts are Anvil unisex and made up of high-quality 100% ring-spun cotton. What are you waiting for? Become a Crossroads minion and represent the show proudly. Head to RainmanDigitalMedia.com. Click on the store tab and get your Crossroads shirt today.
Castiel.
You're listening to Supernatural The Crossroads, Crossroads 003 on Rain Man Digital.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural The Crossroads. Now we're going to be taking some of your thoughts from the episode from our Facebook post. We do this every week to kind of see what you guys thought about it. Do you agree with some of our thoughts? Do you disagree? What were your interpretations? So this was from, let me scroll up here a bit because my computer sucks. This is from Don Garrett. Honestly, I was a little underwhelmed. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was a good episode. I just don't think that it was a season premiere worthy. So something we've said. I love the fact that they brought Mary Winchester back, and I agree with the idea that she doesn't remember anything from when she was dead. And I loved it when Dean explained all the times that he had met her, even when she was a ghost.
You know what? We forgot to put that in the notes, but yeah, I like that too.
Well, I said earlier that I liked him saying all the dates and all the times he remembered in their past. You fell in love with him at this point, at this day. That was great. But after that hug, it felt a little cold. Compared to what it could have been.
I wonder if he's gonna tell her about her dad, like if that was part of the things he told her, like how he was a dick and like tried to sold them out.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
The Dean Castiel hug could not have been more perfect, with Dean showing his uncomfortableness with male physical contact regardless of the situation, and Castiel being the polar opposite. The one thing that was missing was there was no real progression in the storyline. Granted, there was too much going on for there to be a big bad in this episode. The only thing they really touched on was letting us know that Lucifer is still in play.
Yeah, see, I get that where, there was a lot going on in terms of non-elements that would actually progress the plot. But at the same time, and to be fair to Dab and the crew, this is a new chapter.
Yeah.
They closed out a chapter. And when you're starting a new chapter, there's a lot of groundwork you got to lay. And luckily, they are taking elements from past seasons, like the Men of Letters, that are already, for the most part, established. So that's a huge plus. But they're still laying down the groundwork. I just hope the groundwork doesn't take till episode 12 before we're like, oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Hilda
Bear says, I loved the way that Cass just doesn't give a crap anymore. You can see the way his character has evolved. He just punched that person square in the face. Even Mary was like, oh shit, that's an angel. I love the way which Mary was thrown into this world with no knowledge of it, and Cass was kind of the one telling her what's going on, computer scene, etc. It's just so cool to see his growth as a character and him being the teacher instead of the one learning.
Yeah.
So excited for this season.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a good moment, yeah.
Johnny Gonzalez just says, screw you, winky face. I like that. Horsch Cleghorn, I want to say. I apologize if I murder names. You know that's a long-standing thing.
You suck.
My initial 2 thoughts on the overall episode. 1, Sam is a complete badass, all caps. 2, I am so glad that the real Castiel is back. The hard-ass warrior angel. I've missed him. It was fantastic to see him again this episode, and going by what all the actors have been saying about this season, it looks like he is here to stay for a while. More in-depth thoughts to come, but those are just my first 2 initial thoughts.
Exciting.
Johnny Gonzalez says, but in all seriousness, I enjoyed the premiere. It was more tamed and slow-paced than the other premieres, but it was nice that it picked up exactly after last season.
Yeah, I did like that too.
I do like that, yeah. The moments with Mary Winchester were wonderfully done. Dean's face when he realized he loves Baby as much as his mom, I could not stop laughing. There's a reason they both like that back seat. Unless I misunderstood that scene, it's because it also seemed like he was getting the hots for her.
Wait, what?
I think you misunderstood.
No,
you misread that a bit.
Wait, hold on. Reread that. Are you misreading that?
The moments with Mary Winchester were wonderfully done. Dean's face when he realizes he loves Baby as much as his mom, could not stop laughing. Unless I misunderstood that scene, because it also seemed like he was getting the hots for her.
No.
Which reminded me of the Jody Mills Mary Winchester shipping you guys brought up about in the podcast.
Well, yeah.
No, see,
us and our sick thoughts are totally different than what the writers are actually doing. I think
that was her remembering banging in that car, and then Dean realized, my parents banged in this car. Oh God,
that was an Owen Wilson from Meet the Parents moment, where you're looking off and you're remembering how wild that Kit Kat was. Like that's what she was doing.
You motorboating son of a bitch.
Exactly. Castiel being a badass again. Oh yeah, more of that. I hope. Very Terminator-esque. The castiator. That sounds like a castrator.
Castrator? Sounds about right.
That sounds horrifying.
I wouldn't mind that.
What?
Getting castrated?
I told you, I hate my balls.
Oh, God.
They get in the way when I sleep.
I forgot about that.
Which way do you sleep?
Sideways. In a fetal position. Sometimes I hang out the back.
Get a body pillow. Jesus.
Get a body pillow. A Dean one. I have a Dean one.
Oh.
I have a Rowena one.
We know that. Joanne Gaithier, I want to say. I'm still thinking
about
head
to toes, though.
69.
I'm still thinking about it. Need to rewatch, but my overall impression was good. It seemed to jump around a little, and I think the demons were a little over the top, a little too cutesy, but they hinted at things to come. Lucifer, for example. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, at this point, because I know you brought this up too, at this point, I don't think it's even feasible for them to turn demons back into being evil.
No.
I
think Abaddon was the last real demon threat.
It would feel weird and not right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they can't go back to how they were in seasons 4 and 5.
No.
Or seasons 1 through 5.
Yeah.
I think those demons have died out. I would like for them to explain it a little more, maybe, and explain in their personalities that all the hard elite,
All the elite
have been
ones have been
murdered.
murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can surmise that on our own, but yeah, why not?
I mean, if
touch on it?
Crowley is the king, which means there's no one better than him, or they don't dare rise up against him.
Yeah.
I mean, not to put Crowley down, but
No.
he was just a Crossroads demon before.
Right.
So, we all wondered what had happened to him. I'm curious to see how this season unfolds with Mary as an addition. Sam has never had a mother, and I'm interested to see how she changes the dynamic between Sam and Dean, if she does at all. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. Samantha Leviton, awesome writing by Andrew Dabb. I thought all of Dean, Mary, and Cass scenes were and are such a joy to watch, especially the scene with Mary reuniting with Baby. The moment Dean puts it together that he was conceived in the backseat of the car was priceless.
We're all a bunch of creeps in this. On the supernatural fandom.
We are, because we're all like, oh, that's gross, but funny.
Yeah.
Liked when Sam was being all tough, telling Tony, I was tortured by the devil himself. You're just an accent in a pantsuit. What can you do to me? Thumbs up.
Turn me on.
Oh, Jesus. Plus, when Mary killed that British woman of letters in the back, I would love to see, and I'm sure we will see, Mary hunt and kick ass. Last but not least,
She
Sam
penetrated her, kind of.
From behind.
Yeah.
Domination
Very
style.
aggressive, Mary.
Last but not least, Sam getting untied and being injected with a needle, seeing flashes from the past of Kevin, Dean, and Jessica. I did like the Jessica touch.
Okay, hold on a second. I forgot about that. Okay, now, do you think, yes, it was obviously an induced hallucinations, but do you think those hallucinations are going to end up playing a part later?
I don't think so.
In the season, just in the fact that it's something Sam is dealing with in his mind, or are they going to bring that back? Or they're just, let's throw in some random scenes that we know bothered Sam.
I think you could go either way. I think those things will always bother him, but I think in many regards he's moved past a lot of that baggage.
I agree.
You know, Jessica, at the very least, I'd say he's moved past.
Yeah, they should bring her back,
unfortunate as
Yes.
it was.
Oh, please bring her back.
I think that wound has healed as best as it can for him.
Yeah.
And I think this was also just to show that he's both been mentally and physically tortured by the devil. I mean, that was all of season 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Was that mental ward that he needed to have up, otherwise he'd lose reality.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
I was like, yeah, you can't mentally fuck with him either because he's been through the worst. He's had his soul ripped from his body and all that shit. So I don't think they'll bring it up. Could they? Yeah, but I feel like there's other stories on Sam's character, like meeting his mom for the first time, that you can push him in a different direction. You don't need to go back to, is he insane? Does he have guilt? We've done that. Dean and Jessica, now that was pretty neat to see. Plus, earlier at the beginning of the episode, seeing Mary have a flash of her death. All in all, a great start to the season. Alicia Vera, ignoring the many more worthwhile things to discuss, did anyone else think there was a little meta nod to the Castiel shippers with the way Mary looked at Dean and Cass hugging? I swear she had a moment of, is something going on here?
Yeah.
Such good writing. I love that. Allie Nicholas? I want to say, such good writing. I love that they didn't try to force a conclusion, and the idea that this episode or that this season will have room to breathe and flow with these long form arcs. Possibly.
I could see that. I can see that line of thinking.
I could see it. I mean, it is a little different than what we're used to. Maybe that's not a bad thing.
And maybe that's
kind of where they're going with it.
Maybe that's what Dad brings to the table.
Maybe.
A little bit of different structure.
I'm captivated by all the storylines, and everyone was badass. The quiet, confused chemistry between Dean and Mary was so believable, and Sam's reaction to barely missing his escape was killer. We thought we were one step ahead when we guessed he was faking it, and then nope, they pulled the rug out from under us, and it was such a punch in the gut. And I'm happy to see that Lucifer feels menacing again. Aces all around, and I feel the strongest season opener that could stand on its own, but that will lead smoothly into next week.
Allie brings up, the way she worded it makes it sound better. When she said the quiet, confused chemistry between Dean and Mary. If that is what it was, and that's kind of what we touched on a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
So, I mean, if it's something like that, like maybe they're just not quite sure how to deal with it. Like, what's really happening? Like, is this happening? I can buy that. I can definitely see it. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I was going to say, every time we've seen someone come back, there's always been a consequence for them coming back.
Like a catch to it.
Yeah, there's a catch to it. So I think Dean's trying to play this safe and saying, what's the catch
Don't
here?
get too happy.
Yeah, what's the catch here? And essentially the way they ended it with Amara doing it because, she felt like she was doing a good thing, there might not be a catch. But I think Dean's playing into where it's like, okay, there might be a catch to this, and I don't know if I want to brace myself for the fact that there could be that. That's the way I interpret it.
I mean, he's hallucinated this exact scenario.
Absolutely.
So maybe
With
he
the
is
gin,
playing.
right?
Yeah, maybe he is playing it safe. I like what she said about giving the season time to breathe. Maybe we're being a little hard on it, and they're just doing something, like you said, different with Dab, having it slowly roll through the season rather than all this gut punch in the beginning. Because it would be kind of hard to have the very next episode after like the sun gets fixed to really hit us. So, I mean, again, we'll have to see with next week's episode, see how that turns things around. But with that, let's get into the discussion. Ryan, you have the synopsis for the upcoming episode, Mamma Mia.
I do. Dean, Castiel, and Mary have a lead on Sam and set out to rescue him. Dean is uncomfortable with putting Mary in danger, but she insists on going along. Meanwhile, Crowley is tipped off that Lucifer has taken over the body of rock star Vince Vicente. And that's Vince Vicente.
Who's it directed by and written by?
Who cares? I'm kidding. Thomas J. Wright directed, and Brad Buckner and Eugenie Ross.
Now, those names always stand out to me. Eugenie, Ross Lemming. They always stand out to me just because of the fact that, for the most part, the fans aren't the biggest fans of them.
Well, they're not the terrible duo.
They are, yeah. They're the ones called the terrible duo.
No, I thought that was Nicole Snyder, the ones who did Dog Dean Afternoon and the Mannequin.
Well, no, those are the ones. No, those are different ones. But
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are the ones they call that. This is, I believe, Eugenie is the one who's married to Robert, the producer, singer.
See, because that was the thing. I looked that up because I was concerned that the follow-up episode was going to be written by, I was like, quote, the terrible duo, which is unfortunate.
It's them.
But I would have bet it was the other, because there's another pair that wrote all the cringe-worthier episodes, the Mannequin, Dog Dean.
There are other writers that people make fun of, but these are the ones they call. Yeah. Because
their last couple weren't too bad. They had what was it, Hell's Angel?
Yeah,
I thought we liked those.
In fact, last season we talked about this. Last season they actually surprised a lot of people because they wrote some pretty strong episodes. And
they had the one where Metatron dies.
Yeah. So who knows? I mean, maybe they work better under certain I mean, got to remember, like the writing staff's only as good as the showrunner or the showrunner's dynamic with that writer. If the writers don't connect with the showrunner, sometimes the work suffers. It's much like a rapper or a singer songwriter when they work with a producer. Your music is great, but if your lyrics is great, but if you get with the wrong producer or you don't sync well with them, your work might not shine as much as it could if you were with somebody else. So maybe Eugenie Ross Lemming, as we know, Andrew Dabb has taken on a much stronger role, even leading into last year. Maybe they have a better, a better chemistry with Andrew Dabb because they haven't written, they didn't write any cringe-worthy episodes last year.
Because, if you look back at their track record, they had one episode, Route 666, in season 1, and their very next one wasn't until season 7 with Shut Up, Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
So that you had a couple not as popular ones, but then in season 11 you had The Bad Seed, which was Rowena return in season 11, and I remember that episode being fairly good. But more importantly, the mid-season finale, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, with Lucifer and that shot of him with the red eyes, Hell's Angel, and All in the Family, with this third to last episode with Metatron's death. So you might have something there, Mike. It might be the showrunner and how he works with them, because that's two different showrunners and two very different kind of episodes.
Yeah, I'm expecting something cool next week. We're in the second episode. We only have, as we remember in our news segment during our Helletus episode, there's only going to be 8 episodes before the winter Helletus. So they don't have time to play with their play with their balls and their foreskin. They got to
start jacking right away
for the shaft.
Yeah, they need to
get hard and go straight for the shaft.
Jesus. You're not wrong.
They need to get into the back of baby and just get to work.
With Mary?
That don't work. Well, not if you're Dean. Not if you're Dean. If you're Sam, you don't really know, right?
It's right.
I'm just saying.
Barely related.
I'm just saying he's never met her. It might be an accident, a mistake.
Oh, wow, you're really tall and handsome. Let's get in the back of this car.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
I love your car. It reminds me of my husband.
Oh, that's the worst. Like, that's a horror story right there, man.
That's the idea. They said they were going back to horror, right?
Stop saying it.
I fucked my mom.
Jesus
okay,
Christ.
that's a drop, and I'm going to send it to his mom.
Oh, God. I mean, I don't really know what to expect this one. It's kind of a toss up in the air to me. The writers have been both really good and really not so good. I don't want to say
hit or
that.
miss.
Hit or miss.
But Thomas Wright is a pretty good.
He's a good director.
He's done some good episodes.
All I care about is if Rick Springfield's going to play Pellegrino's version of Lucifer or his own
I
version.
think he needs to play the same type of character. That's been the running theme with body possessions. Ruby was the same person regardless of the body. Lilith was the same kind of person.
Everybody
Everyone has been
playing
the same person.
and
that's what led such power to Misha Collins' performance as Lucifer. If it wasn't him trying to be Mark Pellegrino's version, then it wouldn't have been a good performance at all. I mean, that's what Yellow Eyes did based off Jeffrey Dean Morgan's performance.
You have to stick with it. Yeah, it's something they set it. They set the standard, and they got to keep with it. If
they fuck with that, they fuck with canon.
And you know what? I will come back next week. If Rick Springfield is playing a Lucifer that doesn't feel like Lucifer, I will be upset. And I'm never upset at Supernatural. I always forgive any missteps if there are some. And I'm an avid fan. I'm a hardcore super fan. But if Lucifer isn't Lucifer,
that's a problem.
It's a major issue. They're changing everything that they have set up. Everything. I mean, even with the small characters like Hannah, when Hannah possessed the guy that talked to Castiel, it was believably somebody else. When Crowley possessed a woman for a while,
that's still Crowley.
It was still Crowley. You cannot change it, and that's the only thing I'm afraid of. I know we've said this in the Hiatus episode, but I'm gonna say it again. That's my biggest fear about Rick Springfield playing Lucifer. I've seen Rick Springfield in other things. He's a capable actor. He's not a bad actor, but he isn't Daniel Day-Lewis. He isn't Misha Collins. He's not going to be. I cannot see him.
Did you just put Misha and Daniel Day-Lewis in the same category?
Yeah, I did. I just did.
Right.
I just did.
Wow.
I'm saying that Misha throws himself into a role. I'm not saying he may not be at that level, the caliber of Daniel Day-Lewis. I'm just saying that he throws
himself in it completely.
Daniel Day-Lewis has a reputation of throwing himself in that role.
Method acting to the point of insanity.
Yeah, he is that actor. He is that person. And Misha did the exact same thing last year with Lucifer. And if we get anything other than someone who completely throws himself in this character and understands the person, I think you're jamming a big fat finger up someone's ass. All the fucking Supernatural fans, you're ramming them.
Man,
that's what you're doing.
Really talking about anal play tonight.
Who cares? Cares. I'm very adamant about that.
I agree.
Because I'm on board the Rick Springfield casting. I'm fine with it. But he better have taken some acting courses.
Or watch the episodes at least that he.
Yeah, but he doesn't even know his own character.
I don't talk about it.
Doesn't know his own character, Mike.
I don't know. We'll see. This is going to be the second part of the season premiere, essentially. So I have some high hopes for this one, or high expectations, I should say, at least.
Yeah.
Mike, do you have this little bit here we want to talk on, or is that something for...
Yeah, let's get into it really fast.
So, what is this exactly? It's interesting if it's somewhat true.
You got the link?
I'm bringing it up now.
It's just fun theories. It was sent over from the Fandom Natural group. While you pull it up, I got our bit here. 1 second.
Let me guess. Winchester trouble?
And now, it's time to see what the listeners are saying on Reddit. Fandom Natural. Fandom Natural. Fandom Natural.
All right, so this here is an idea of Rufus and his connection to the Men of Letters. This is posted on Reddit from the Supernatural Wiki transcript of Season 3, Episode 15, Time is on My Side.
It's an interesting theory, and what could potentially, if I read this right, potentially mean what it could potentially mean for
stroke
for continuity for SBN.
Should we just read the whole thing?
Yeah, not
Or
read
just-
through
Can
it.
I be Rufus?
Just get through the gist of it. No, I don't want to drag this
Essentially,
out.
the gist of it is Dean is talking to Rufus about Bella Talbot.
It's the part when Dean needed to find and track down somebody by the name of Bella. We all remember that from season 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Rufus, if you remember, is the one who got him the information. And let me just cut through all the red tape here and the nonsense. Basically, he knew a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend from England, because they get away with a lot more than we do here. And he gave him information on Bella. Then people started theorizing about whether or not this contact was the Men of Letters.
Because it was from England.
Right. And the continuity issue comes into play, just because of the fact that obviously Bella would have made her deal where? She was going to hell, remember?
Right.
And she was in England.
Yep.
So if the Men of Letters were monster-free in 1963, what does that fully mean? Does that also include Crossroad demons or just monsters? So this is where a lot of people started discussing whether or not this presents a continuity issue by simply saying, hey, we're Monster 3 since 1963.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between they were free of monster-related deaths.
Does it mean
that doesn't mean demons or deals necessarily?
Or does it?
And back in season 3, demons were far more powerful than the schleps we see today. These were the ones who had power. Lilith was still alive. You know, Azazel was still running the show at that time when she made that deal. So who knows who she made that with? It could have been Crowley for all we know.
Rather than focus on the continuity aspect, yes, because I think they can explain that away, because monsters are monsters, demons are demons.
Different.
And you can't really necessarily, as someone said in the Phantom Natural group, you can't necessarily demon trap an entire country.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the fact that would be a cool tieback to bring another flashback story, even though I hate flashbacks, but just like they did last year by bringing Bobby and Rufus back, maybe a little nod to Rufus again, where he actually is in league with Men of Letters. Not saying he is Men of Letters, or he even knows who he's dealing with, but who he in fact was dealing with was the Men of Letters.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool.
That would be good.
That'd be a cool throwaway episode to expand a little bit on Men of Letters.
Would that be a throwaway episode, though?
No, it would be in the fact that you're bringing Rufus back, but if you were to use it to expand the Men of Letters lore, dude, that would be fun as hell.
I would respect that, because it means they went back to season 3, took this one sentence and built on it.
Yeah,
you know, and that's what I liked a lot about season 8, was that they referenced stuff that we hadn't heard or seen from since Kripke's day. They went back to Dad and the Journal and Hellhounds and the specific things that I enjoyed. So if they went all the way back to season 3 to kind of take this and ran with it, that'd be cool. It makes it all more cohesive and real.
I think it would be cool.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Really cool.
And it's a great way to see Rufus again, because unfortunately,
we all want to see more Rufus.
They killed him in the most stupidest way ever.
Stupid con worm bullshit.
So dumb. Didn't even get to say goodbye.
Pouring out for your homie, though.
Put on the Boys to Men.
Well, guys, with that, I think that's going to do it here for us at Supernatural, The Crossroads. As always, thank you for taking the time to listen to us. Check us out on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Crossroads SPN, Bold Irishman, The Ryan Denton. Let us know what you guys thought of our discussion through the Facebook page and messages, Twitter, and all that. And then we will... And also, guys, remember, guys, ladies, and all of the above, please remember to share our Facebook posts. That actually, honestly, it helps a lot more.
You know what? This is my moment to do a little bit of pleading here. Like I said, all of our content's free. We do a lot of work. We do 8 to 12 shows a week almost now at this point.
Yeah.
Including Supernatural, and all of it's free. And if you guys can share, that actually helps. Retweet, favorite, share, like. Every retweet and share on Facebook and Twitter is worth about $1.25 to us. Okay. So when you think about it, that's a good way to pay us and help out the show without even a dime out of your pocket. So always please remember to share those posts.
And if you want to help more, you guys can always get the shirts off the Rain Man digital site with our official logo.
Word.
Because we're cool like that. We have logos now. So with that, guys, we'll see you all next week when we talk about Mamma Mia. Later.
You little maggot. You are no longer a part of this story. Hey, ass butt.